Chapter 4499. Chapter 4499. Yang Li is screaming in the right color, as a matter of questioning, with a bit of reprimand. In an instant, above the void, the faces of the other 9 elders became courageous at this moment. After all, even the Yang side has no scruples, they are mixed with the sun, and naturally there is no need to fear anything. After all, the sky collapsed with 9 or 6 tall top. Since Yang Li dares to be so unscrupulous, then there must be your own reliance. Suddenly, a few people moved in their hearts and crossed each other's eyes to reach an agreement. That's right, you really think that Shan Haizong is asking for you? What is the spectrum, how is the sacred road, and we want to inform you? So badly, it is simply not to take my mountain Haizong, not to put Tongxian Road in my eyes. If so, then don't want to enter Tongxian Road through my mountain Haizong, let's go. In a flash, one by one, the sound came one after another, full of ridicule and disdain. The top 10 elders of Shan Haizong competed to open their mouths, and they were infinitely arrogant. They all reprimanded and despised Longfei. A pair of people who want to drive Longfei out of Shanhaizong. Longfei stood on the land of cultivation and did not move. But above the corner of the mouth there is a sneer. But the white deer has long been unable to bear it. After several people have not finished, the white deer will be interrupted directly. Old is not a thief, who is the courage to give you? But just a short half-month, dare to jump out? So soon I forgot how my boss used to abuse you last time? The white deer said coldly, and he didn't leave a face, and he went straight back. Hey, you will be white deer, you are too open-minded. Different from the past, are you really arrogant capital now? Tell you no more. My first legend has been made into a lawless, and now you are jumping over the clown and being vulnerable. Yang Li said. The arrogance is incomparable. Furious. In the eyes they are full of confidence. As before. No, even say it is more arrogant than before. At least before, there will be scruples that will be heavy, and the white deer will be tolerated. Now, because of the Chushan sea clearance, he has even ignored the heavy ferry. In this way, the white deer can't stand it anymore, and one step directly rushes to the void. Old things, Xiaoye gave you a face. The white deer will step into the sky, and the light of the evil spirit will flash in the eyes, and the breath will surge. Then, there was no pause at all, and a direct slap in the face of the sun. Snapped. A crisp sound resounded between the heavens and the earth. Ah, white deer, you are a little beast, you. The next moment, the voice of Yang Li appeared directly, full of anger, directly yelling. At this moment, what will be heavy and what is flying is not important. Thinking of the WeChat that has just been erected, the white deer will be slap in the face, and it will fall apart directly, and the mind has lost its sense. I don't want anything, I just want to put the white deer to death. Yes, he is ignoring one thing after all. Because he is facing is the white deer. A Lian Longfei will feel a secret person, and he can provoke it? Impossible. Moreover, the white deer is not the original white deer, nearly a month of retreat, his cultivation is also skyrocketing, from the previous heaven, all the way through, until now, to the middle of the man. Coupled with the smell of the evil spirits of the whole body, we can ignore the special strength of Shanhai Avenue. It can be said that his combat power is to sweep the top 10 elders of Shanhaizong, and it is not difficult. So, at the moment, just in the next blink of an eye, the white deer will be shot again. Snapped. Hey! One palm and one palm, falling on the face of Yang Li, without deviation. I don't know the old things that live and die. I think I have a dog bone. Whatever is not done, Xiaoye does not know, and there is no need to know. I only know that your old dog is looking for a dead end today. The white deer was cold and cold. At this time, the 9 elders behind Yang Li are also awakened from the wrong moment. Looking at the non-adult-shaped Yang standing that has been hit by the white deer, the heart is cold and cold, like a hail. You will be white deer, you are too much. Here is Shan Haizong, you are also Shan Haizongren, how can you be so rude to the elders? Yes, do you want to judge our Shan Haizong? I advise you to stop the loss in time, and immediately release the elders of the sun. Otherwise, today is your death. Even if you are serious, you can't keep you. Suddenly, several elders said. But between the words, their words kept trembled. It is clearly blocked by the opening, but it is betrayed by the body, and it is constantly regressing one by one. However, they simply can't go. When a person's figure retreats to the edge of the void, and wants to retreat, the horse is roaring and directly igniting the thunder of the heavens. In the twinkling of an eye, the black cloud presses the city, and the shackles destroy the sentient beings, coming. Roar! A group of jumping clowns. It seems that Shan Haizong is really no one, just rely on you to become the top 10 elders? It's a joke. But it's just right, this beast has just changed, and there is no chance to show it. Today you can't run one. With a roar, the body of the horse began to change. This change has caused the whole mountain to be shaken under the mountain. For a moment, the mountain, the outer door, the inner door, the core, and the mountains and the sea, no one can be spared, and the moment is dark. At this moment, Shan Haizong and other people suddenly changed their faces, and walked out of their own room, watching the horror of the sky, and the eyes locked in the door for a moment. External door? Is that person? He is doing this? Do you still want to hua Shan Haizong? Shan Haizong's main anger is unstoppable, and his eyebrows are picking up, and the anger is burning, and the figure sways and goes straight to the outer door. At this time, in the outer door, the white deer has been arrogant, and his hand is holding the palm in his hand. And the construction of horses is even more raging, directly transforming. The thunder fire is burning all over the body. The latest 9 elders of Shan Haizong were shivering at this time. No, we are already the top 10 elders of Shan Haizong. Do you want to be enemies with the whole mountain Haizong? Someone spoke. The body has been riddled with the power of the thunder of the horse. Even if they have been used by Shan Haizong, they have got the best of both worlds. However, the difference is still too far. Even if the power of building a horse is not what they can resist. Almost every thunder's power is swept away, and their rhythm of the Tao will collapse. At this time, the figure of the mountain lord descended down. Enough! Your Excellency, isn't it too much? We have done what you asked before. Why do you want to fight? Shan Haizong screamed. And Long Fei is also a step forward, taking a deep breath, facing the mountain and sea lord, said, Enough? It was enough. But, since someone jumped out to do things, that Lao Tzu doesn't mind letting history repeat itself. Chapter 4500. Chapter 4500. Long Fei said indifferently. At the time of speaking, Long Fei's figure also took a step forward and came to the void. Carry on. Long Fei once again spoke and uttered 2 words. And with the sound of Long Fei falling, whether it is to white deer or build a horse, it is even more unscrupulous. I saw that the white deer had raised the palm of his hand directly with one hand, and the evil spirit smiled and slapped again. Moreover, this time is different from before, this time I only used his own power. Hey! Yang Lidi was directly beaten. Under the slap, the whole person flew out in a flash. Moreover, the body began to shrink at a speed visible to the naked eye, as the oil was dry and the vitality was constantly consumed. It's just a blink of an eye, just like a dead person, full of life. At this moment, the figure of the elders of Shan Haizong also descended. I couldn't help but say that I came directly to the front of Yang Lidi and my eyes were condensed. What strength is this? The elders' faces are unbelievable, and they stand out from his body to the sun. But it is useless at all. For the last time, Shan Haizong's elders used the power of the mountains and seas to use the power of the road to lock the state of the Yang Lidi, avoiding the continued vitality of the Yangli. The white deer, you are too much. Is it going to be a heavy ferry, is that what you are taught? Shan Haizong said to the elders. The eyes are full of anger. Excessive? Really a joke. This old dog is idle, and has no trouble running in front of Lousy. I dare to ask my boss. Is it too much for me? Old things, you are afraid to forget who I am. Before the young man was arrogant, he was not afraid of you. Now Lousy is also a person, will you be afraid of you? Said the white deer. A look of disdain. I don't care what Mr. Shan Haizong's elders say. Hello, one will be the white deer. It seems that the heavy fairy will be too fond of you, and I can't say that I want to take the old man today to discipline him. The elders of the elders have a strong voice and said coldly. Housekeeper, I have to see if you have this ability. The white deer did not care, with a word, a body, you must take the initiative. But at this time, the figure of the heavy fairy appeared directly from the first mountain, one step to climb, directly to the outer door void. At this time, the face of the ice will be heavy. Teach him? Do you have this qualification? Zhongmo, is it the comfort of these years, let you forget some darkness? Under the world, who dares to talk about him? Will be heavy and cold indifferent. Below, Long Fei is silent, watching the people of Zhongxian and others confront each other in the void, and the brilliance flashes. However, at this time, Long Fei and the Night Child, who had just stepped out of the secret room, were not allowed to shrink at this moment. If you are serious, let them feel unusual in their hearts. Under the heavens, no one dares to control. This sentence, heard by outsiders, is only a kind of self-blowing. Because he will be a heavy fairy, so no one dares to provoke. But when Long Fei heard it, it was not. The bigger possibility is that it is about the evil spirit of the white deer, and the power that can restrain the Shanghai law. At the same time, at this time, Shan Haizong was too elder, and the anger in his eyes disappeared at this moment, becoming deep and incomparable. His eyes will look heavy and will see the white deer. You are saying that he, Shan Haizong, is too embarrassed to erupt. But before I finished speaking, I was directly interrupted by the heavy fairy. It doesn't matter. What's important is that I am still there. Call. Shan Haizong's elders, that is, Ji Zhongmo, also took a deep breath and looked extremely heavy. The next moment, he saw a white deer look. This is the case. At this time tomorrow, Tongxian Road will open. When you and your boss go in, you will be fine. Ji Zhongmu said, with a wave of hands, directly forced back the strength of the construction of the horse, the other elders of Shan Haizong from the deep waters. Then, with the long sleeves moving, and then wrapped up in the sun, they will leave. For all of this, there will be no openings for the emperor. It seems that I don't want to tear my face at this time. The white deer can be extremely unwilling. In particular, the moment when he tried to make a shot, he even felt a sense of powerlessness. His power was washed away almost instantly. More than just him, Jianma is even more angry. This old guy is so strong? Jianma is unbelievable. At this time, he refining the essence of Long Fei, the blood is back to the ancestors, and the power is greatly improved. However, there is no use of eggs. In front of the other side, all the power is like a stone cow into the sea, completely stunned by the slightest wave. Old man, is that all right? The white deer also looked at the heavy fairy and asked, and the eyes were not calm. Although you are already a person, but between the plan and the plan, it is not a star and a half. And Tongxian Road is the place where you have to enter. It is too big to make a fuss now. Then I looked at Long Fei. But I just took a look and then shifted my view. The white deer was extremely reluctant, but he couldn't help but had to return to Long Fei's side. Boss, sorry. Master, sorry, said white deer and Jianma. Long Fei gently nodded. There is nothing to apologize, you have done a good job. But it's still almost. Because even if it is just what can be done, don't forget, you still have the boss. Long Fei said that the strength of the hands directly condensed, and then the palm of the hand was shot. Boom! All of a sudden, the entire mountain, once again rioted. Even more violent than just now, the waves are soaring and the mountains collapse. If the endless mountains and seas are broken under this palm, they will be broken. The two people of Ji Zhongmo and Shan Haizong also turned instantly. Be bold. The thief you dare. The two opened at the same time, could not help but say while waving a palm. Hey! 3 different forces collide directly in the void. Boom! The breath of endless destruction erupted in an instant, and then swayed out, swept the whole piece of void in a blink of an eye. Rumble! Rumble! At the same time, the entire outer door belongs to it, and the mountains and seas are all broken. Not only that, but with the inner door, the core area has not been spared, and in the hands of the 3 people, all of them are turned into powder. Dare? In the world of Laozi, I have never dared to say 2 words. Long Fei, said the cold, his eyes filled with madness. Even in the face of the 2, there is no fear. In the same way, under this palm, everything is shocking. Shan Haizong and Ji Zhongmo both killed more in the eyes. Looking at Long Fei, my heart is filled with endless killing. Because this time they repeat the same mistake. And more thoroughly. More than before, in the core area, consciousness is completely crushed by Long Fei. Because now, the entire mountain Haizong up and down, all witness this scene. Chapter 45:01. Chapter 45:01 Under one palm, the high and low judgment. Although no one was injured this time, it is important to understand that Long Fei is only one person, but the other party is 2. Kid, you are too mad, Tongxian Road is about to open, I don't want to make a big mistake. Are you really afraid that you are not? Ji Zongku asked. The sound is full of chill. Sorry, you are really right, Lao Tzu is when you are afraid. Dragons is a chuckle. There was a relief and madness in the scorpion. Especially after finishing this sentence, the face is surprisingly easy. It seems that it has completely adapted to the current identity. At this time, the dragon-flying deity below is a slight glimpse. I didn't think that the world's own play was so fast. Moreover, arrogance does not violate the sense of harmony. Crazy. Or, in the heart of this world, there has been a crazy seed, and now it is being watered by itself. It has completely broken out and the block is not blocked. It's really fast. Night Child may also said openly. Obviously, it is to say that dragon flying appears in front of people in their own capacity. Maybe not learning? Or he was arrogant, just waiting for an opportunity like this? Because of arrogance, it also requires capital. And now, his strength is enough. Long Fei said faintly. Said, there is also a look of hope in the eyes. Because of the self of the world, it did not disappoint him. Since you can't avoid it, then simply, it's just the end. At this time, the celestial being above the void will also look at Long Fei with a look of arrogance. 1 month? Just a month's time, has it changed? It will shock the hearts of the sense. When a dragon shot, he saw that the power of Long Fei had completely changed. Although still violent, but as before, like that hard. On the contrary, it contains a rhyme. However, what shocked him even more is that at this time, the power of Long Fei was much stronger than before, and it was able to slap the power of Ji Zhongmo and Shan Haizong by 1-on-2. This kind of means, even if he can't do it. As soon as I read this, I will not open the door, but I will look at it. And again, this is the other direction in the void. The white deer and the Jianma have been sluggish in the same place, watching one person and one palm, galloping in the void, arrogant and unparalleled dragon flying, eyes shining. Is this really the boss? Nima is too violent. The white deer's throat is slightly moved, watching the violent dragon fly, the heart is not willing to disappear. Instead, it is a touch of ecstasy and madness. In particular, Long Fei's last sentence made him feel the urge to go to the mountains and seas with Long Fei. Ha ha ha, cool, master, do them. They are afraid. Jianma is also a big laugh. With Long Fei flying ahead, he can be more unscrupulous. However, Long Fei did not answer the reaction of the two people, but his eyes were locked in the plan of Zhong Zhongmo and Shan Haizong. Oh, how many years have passed! The first one is so arrogant in front of the old man. Ji Zhongmu said. Oh, it's just arrogant, it's just looking for death. Kid, it seems that the last time we took a step back and let you inflate. But now, you have no use of value. My legendary disciple has already practiced no law, and there is no difference between you and you. Or, I want you to die on Tongxian Road. But now, if you find yourself dead, you can't blame us, and you can't talk. The chief of the mountain sea said. After that, after looking at it, he and Ji Zhongmo looked at each other. Ji Zhongmu nodded slightly, and then the figure flashed directly to the other corner of the void. Would you like to have two people come together? Then try it. Long Fei must be both eyes and said. The next moment, Ji Zhongmo and Shan Haizong, the two immediately shot. The figure is like a ghost, and it whispers. With the movements of two people, the whole mountain and sea sex have changed, and the endless mountains and seas have changed. Like a roar, like a roar. What is even more terrifying is that in the mountains and the sea, the land where the mountains and the sea meet, it is a condensed out of a giant mountain and a sea of heaven, as if it was given the divinity. In an instant, an endless wave of horrific repression broke out, and it was crushed against Long Fei. Boss! The two old things that are shameless are actually combined to deal with my boss. I will kill you. At this time, the white deer could not stand it. When the body jumps, it rushes to the past. Jianma did not hesitate at this time. Roar! Jianma roared and began to change directly from top to bottom. Between the breaks, it has changed from the original size to the near one. The one horn above the top of the head also directly turned into 6 corners. Not only that, but even the wings behind it have become terrifying. Between the two wings, one side of the earthquake, while the wind screamed the clouds, while thundering. Ha ha ha, Lao Tzu can't help it anymore. I wanted to surprise my host. And now is the opportunity. 2 pieces of Shan Haizong, let me die. Among the curses, the body of Jianma straddles the void directly. This scene is to let Shan Haizong get everyone up and down, and my heart is chilling. Originally, Jianma was in their minds, just like a murderous madman, and he would kill if he did not agree. Now, it has become a lot more than before, and it is like letting them fall into hell, and there is a shudder in the soul. Below, Long Fei's mouth also showed a faint smile. Because no matter whether it is the white deer or the horse, he did not let him down. It's not just repairing, it's action. At this moment, it's already letting Long Fei's heart touch and treating the two as their own brothers. However, the next moment, the scene that happened let Long Fei double fists, cannot help but want to shoot. I saw that Jianma and the white deer were combined into one at this time. The white deer jumped directly to the wings of Jianma. Under the leadership of Jianma, they came directly to Long Fei's body. With your own strength, you should stop this mountain and see from the top of the mountain and the sea. Boom! However, a loud noise. I saw that the body of the horse was directly crushed, and even the white deer was not spared, and the body fell from the void. At the same time, on the top of the mountain and the sea, a figure slowly walked out. Footsteps on the sea like a on the top. Despise everything. Hey, don't be self-sufficient dog stuff. Really be invincible? Dare to be so arrogant in my mountain high zone. Don't you tell me, I have already achieved success in Chushanhai? The Chushan Sea is in the mountains and seas, and the indifference is said. At this time, Dragons has finally been released. In the hands of a turn, play a soft force to build the horse and save the white deer. Then, when the feet fell, they skyrocketed. There is nothing to do, hurt my dragon's brother, even if you are a god, you have to give me a knee. Chapter 4502. Chapter 4502. Long Fei was completely angry. The body has a high degree of warfare, and it is directly on the Chushan Sea above the void. In addition to anger, this kind of warfare also implies another emotion. That is a higher level. Because he is the world of the world, the people of this world. Nowadays, one step into the sky, incarnation of Longfei, naturally want to prove to Longfei, he is not bad. And the entire Tongxian continent, Chushan Sea is definitely the leader in the leader. Therefore, at this time, in the heart of Longfei, there is only one thought, that is, to dry the mountains and seas. At this time, the two elders of Shanhai Taishang and Shanhai Zhongzhu also stop. As a result, the shadow of the giant mountains and seas between the mountains and the sea disappeared. Shanhai, you don't need to go out at all, but it's a hairy boy. This kind of existence, why do you need to go out? We are enough to suppress. The chief of the mountain sea said. In the words, I vowed. It seems that there is nothing wrong with the two people working together to deal with one person. The sound of the Chushan Sea does not move, step by step, and the words of the Shanhai Emperor are unheard of. Instead, his eyes fixed on Long Fei. Is it by you? Do you have this qualification? But it is the power of some Shanhai law that can be arrogant in front of me? I am not afraid to tell you that I have integrated the entire mountain road, and all the Shanhai law is a joke in front of me. And you, but control a few mountains and seas law, dare to arrogant in front of me? I really want to know who is giving you this courage? Chu Shanhai said. A contemptuous look. I don't want to see Longfei in my eyes. And the Longfei eyes are also unconsciously moving. Instinctive turn, with the corner of the eye, looked at the dragon flying below. Longfei's response was more direct, and he thought of two words. Dry him. This kind of communication does not care about the sound, and Longfei has never spoken. It's just a special exchange between the two. Just a flash of thought can be perceived by the other party. After Longfei got the response from Longfei, his eyes were condensed and he did not say a word. Hands palms pushed directly out to the void. Rumble. Rumble. With one palm out, the ground shakes the mountain. The mountains and the sea roared, and the large buildings began to collapse under the palm of the Longfei reversal. At this moment, the people above the core of Shanhaizong are evacuated in an instant. In the face of the Longfei, I didn't dare to wait for a minute. Boom. Continuously into pieces. It seems that everything is in the eyes of Longfei, and there is no scruples. Everything can be destroyed. Run. This person is a madman. The last time was the core area. This time it was even more unscrupulous. Did you want to ruin our entire Shanhai zone? Well, what if he missed Tongxian Road? I have waited for a few hundred years before I waited for such an opportunity. Suddenly, with Longfei shot, the disciples who were still at the top of the mountain and the sea began to complain one by one. Drinking constantly. In their eyes, Longfei is a madman. If it is not Longfei, now they are enjoying the respect of others and preparing to enter Tongxian Road. But now, because of Longfei, everything has become uncertain. Now, the only thing they are craving is that Longfei has been suppressed. Only in this way can everything be the same. At this time, Shanhaizong's elders and Shanhai lords also shot. However, it is not aimed at Longfei. Instead, it directly draws the shadow of the mountains and seas and protects them, so as to avoid the influence of Longfei on Shanhaizong. Similarly, Chu Shanhai also shot. Not self-reliant. Chu Shanhai looked at the action of Longfei and snorted. Immediately cover the same palm. Boom. It was another roar. However, this power is obviously more violent than the power exerted by Longfei. Falling from the sky, wrapped in the supreme pressure, directly on the palm, will cover the power of Longfei. Booming. The power of Longfei was directly annihilated. Just as Tong Chu Shanhai said, his power, which originated from Shanhai Avenue, was not enough. For a time, the figure of Chu Shanhai became the only one above the mountain and the sea. All eyes are on the past and full of admiration. This is gone. Haha, it's a joke. It looks like a slap in the face. As a result, I am killed by my legendary slap, and I laughed at myself. This Nima is really the best thing to laugh this year, no one. This is awesome, I can blow for 100 years. In an instant, Shan Haizong's disciples were active. The inner heart of silence is once again awakened. Looking at the Longfei, that was silent above the void was full of ridicule. And dragons is also a glimpse at this time. Looking up at Chushanhai, he frowned slightly. Boss! The host! The white deer and the Jianma are also coming to the side of Longfei again, enduring the wounded body, and standing in front of Longfei. Needless to say, use their actions to show their attitude. Boss, this guy is too strong, can't do it. Yeah, master, staying in the green hills, not afraid of not burning wood. There will be heavy immortals, they will not dare to die, said White Deer and Jianma. Similarly, the dragon flying below is also slightly moving. However, it is not fear, but excitement. Chu Shanhai shot, Longfei's heart is full of desire. Before, when he was refining the world for himself, he felt that the road to the mountains and seas was somewhat unsatisfactory. Originally thought it was because of the power of the body. It is now understood that the so-called mountain and sea road is nothing but a power of the side. The true avenue power is in the hands of Chu Shanhai. Thinking of this, there is only one thought in Longfei's heart. That is to explode the Chushan Sea. Not only that, Longfei's heart has already felt that Chushan Sea is probably a big boss in this world. For the boss, Longfei has always been zero tolerance. But now, Longfei can feel that with this world's own, the cliff is not the opponent of Chushanhai. Just let him shoot, more as a kind of temptation. Therefore, if you want to explode Chushanhai, you can only shoot yourself. Mom, let you live a few more days, Tongxian Road is your death. Longfei hated in his heart. At the same time, Longfei conveyed this idea to the past. Above the void, after receiving the thought of Longfei, Dragons was deeply breathed, and the fists were clenched and full of unwillingness. But he also knows that his current strength is not an opponent of Chu Shanhai. But let him retreat so, the heart is unbearable. Therefore, Longfei did not say a word, looked up at Chushanhai. You are strong, but you are not necessarily invincible. On the road to Tongxian, I will deprive you of everything. Chapter 4503. Chapter 4503 Longfei said coldly. But the voice did not fall, and a burst of laughter appeared. Hey, what do you think is this? I think it is better to pretend. What is the ratio? I am not the opponent of my legendary disciple. Is it on the road? Innocent. I am afraid of fear, maybe my legend, I am too lazy to care about your waste, spare you a dog. Yes, now you are begging for mercy, maybe you can still have a dog around you. A voice. Countless ridicules were uttered from the mouth of the disciples, who were selected by Shan Haizong and entered Tongxian Road. At this point, they all smugly on their faces, looking at the Longfei full of disdain. Of course, it is not just them who have this kind of emotion. Before, the 9 elders who were not built in the same place were revived and listened to the words of dragon flying. Picking up in the eyes, want to think? Impossible. What about Zhang Jinjin? We are legendary, you are jealous? Want to think you can, scream and scream 3 times Shan Haizong is your grandfather, we will open the net. The 9 elders of Shan Haizong said. The haze is incomparable. Before, they were humiliated by the establishment of horses, and now they see themselves gaining momentum, one by one becoming unscrupulous. Grass your ancestors give you a face? A Chushan Sea will make you confident? Little master is here. You let him kill a try? An old dog, believe it or not, I will kill you. Chushanhai does not dare to move a finger to Xiaoya? The white deer can't stand it. In the moment when a few people fell, they jumped out and said. At the same time, he looked at the heavy fairy. The meaning is already very clear, that is to let the heavy fairy resist all this. Hey, little beast, do you really think you can do whatever you want? So far, do you think we will still be jealous of the immortal? I will still be jealous of you, I don't need it anymore. My legendary legend has been cultivated as a supreme law. Shan Haizong does not need to guard the mountain elders. You are at best a latecomer. What is great? If you dare to shoot, I am as good as Shan Haizong. Several elders said again, completely dismissive. If they were put before, they would never dare not put the singer in their eyes. But now Chu Shanhai's shot, the power of the world, directly makes their hearts confident. Ignore all enemies. As the difference shows, they are invincible. The white deer became more and more angry, grinds his teeth, and the power of evil spirits on his body has reached the edge of the explosion. But at this time, the first step will be taken to the white deer, and the wave of the white deer will be suppressed. Reassured, I am still here, how can I let others bully you? I will pick you up the dog head of these 9 old dogs. The rest, just wait on Tongxian Road to solve it. It will be said by the heavy fairy, and everything is empty and understated. It seems that people like Shan Haizong and Chu Shanhai are not in the eye. But he hasn't done it yet. Long Fei is a step forward. I don't shoot, not because I am afraid of you. It doesn't want to affect the opening of Tongxian Road. However, some people are too mad. If this is the case, then simply fight. Dragons faintly said. After that, the dragon-flying figure disappeared in an instant. Breaking through the infinite mountains and seas of the sky, I came directly to the front of the 9 elders of Shan Haizong. Hey! When a palm falls, the power of the mountains and seas breaks out in its hand. Don't you dare? The elders of Shan Haizong suddenly changed their faces. I did not expect that things will develop to this point. Dare? There is no word in the dictionary of lousy. Let's die. The Long Fei sound was cold, and there was no scruples. It immediately slammed into one of them. Boom! The force of the mountains and seas burst instantly, and a terrorist force swayed out in the hands of Long Fei, and this elder was also under this palm, and the entire chest was penetrated by a palm. I hate! The elder roared, his eyes filled with endless hatred, and finally fell down, and the dead could not die any more. At this moment, everyone's sights are all fixed on Long Fei. Full of incredible. No one had thought that Long Fei would not play according to the routine. Direct shot. Moreover, a shot is so violent, a hit kill. Brush it. In the next moment, the remaining 8 people were all changed, and there was no ambiguity before the face. One by one, the winds of the mountains and the seas fled away. Want to go? Since you have to leave your dog's head, you can't run one. Life. Dragons is another blast. Hey! A figure was also directly hit by Long Fei. Immediately, the entire body was also broken, and a mountain and sea law was stripped from its body. And Long Fei is nothing but a hand, and then plugs in the entrance. Dead. A word was again spit out in the mouth of Long Fei. Then the power of the hand changed, and turned directly into another way of mountain and sea. Unsurprisingly, under this power, it is also an elder of mountains and seas, directly killed by Long Fei. Destroy. Life. Own. Seal. Town. However, Dragon still has no performance of stopping, and the performance is followed by a word. And the whole mountain Haizong up and down also became dead and quiet at this moment. One by one, they looked at each other's eyes, and looked at the 9 elders in their eyes. Under the palm of Long Fei, one after another, the heart was gray. Then they knew that they had made a fatal mistake. So, one by one, the figure kept going back. Deeply afraid that Long Fei will destroy the elders, they will come to them for trouble. In the same way, Long Fei will kill everybody at this time, and will kill the mountain and sea in his body, and then swallow it into the belly. Below, Long Fei and the Night Child are silent. It seems that, like you, it is also a lord who is not lonely, not afraid of fear. But, if you do this, don't you be afraid, will you attack it by Shan Haizong? The night child asked me faintly. And Long Fei but gently smiled. No, but the so-called 9 elders, but not killed. And there will be heavy immortals, and this will not happen. Long Fei said with a smile. His heart was extremely determined. In fact, it is just like Long Fei thinks. On the whole mountain, above the sea, including the Shanhaizong elders, the masters of the plan, as well as the mountains and seas, and the mountains and seas of the Chushan Sea, are unheard of, indifferently watching Long Fei killing 9 elders. At this time, Long Fei also swallowed the rules of the mountains and seas in the body, and then looked up and faintly said, Who else? Who else thinks that Lao Tzu thinks? Can you come up and try, is Laozi really sincere? Long Fei said. The eyes must be, and the eyes are unparalleled. Chapter 4504. Chapter 4504. Long Fei stands proudly and kills people like a dog. It seems that he has killed several elders of Shan Haizong, and there is no slight touch to him. The eyes are still full of killings, and they are facing the mountains and seas. And throughout the mountain sea there is no silence. It is the Chushan Sea, and it is silent at this time. But the eyes of Chu Shanhai are the same, and they endlessly killing. Dog things, you are arrogant, tomorrow on the road to the ferry is your death. Chu Shanhai said. There is no plan to shoot at all. But this sentence, listening to the ears of Shan Haizong disciples, is another taste. The moment before, Long Fei recognized. They are extremely arrogant. But now, Long Fei shot and killed. Chushanhai chose not to shoot, as Long Fei said before, choose to pass on Tongxian Road. Hey, what? Do you think so? Isn't it a mountain legend? Not a peerless matchless. Is it not the belief of Shan Haizong? Don't be embarrassed. The white deer will be so cool in the heart. The ridicule of the former Shan Haizong disciple was returned to the original. In an instant, countless Shan Haizong disciples bowed their heads directly, their faces were blushing and full of anger. Chu Shanhai did not give any explanation. After saying that sentence, he immediately retired. Ji Zhongmo and Shan Haizong were suddenly forced. Looking at the disappearance of the Chushan Sea, his face is gloomy. It can be said that this time they are the real face sweeping. History repeats itself. It was another 9 elders who were directly killed. Moreover, it is still killing in front of them, which is tantamount to directly hitting the face. What makes them feel even more shocking is that Chu Shanhai has gone. I thought that Chushanhai was able to cross the Long Fei. In this way, the face of Shan Haizong is proud to be preserved, and it is also possible to kill chickens and monkeys, which is the name of Shan Haizong. Therefore, before the flight, Long Fei did not stop it. In order to give Chushanhai a chance to shoot, I want to let the name of Chushanhai spread all over the world through the body of Long Fei. And the death of the 9 elders, they are in order to highlight the strong dragon, and then a strong road to kill by Chu Shanhai. Therefore, when Long Fei violently killed 9 people, they did not shoot. However, I did not expect Chu Shanhai to go straight. Let all their opportunities fall through. It can be said that the lost elders lost their faces. However, now that Chu Shanhai is gone, even if they want to shoot, they should also measure it. Because of the dragon flying here, all our high-end combat power. Even if it is a horse, it can also ravage the core disciples of countless Shan Haizong, not at one level. Coupled with the white deer, the heavy fairy, and the Long Fei 3, they are helpless. One thought of this, the faces of the 2 are even more depressed. Hit can't fight. Retired, there is no such face. For a time, it can only be made deep in the void, staring coldly at Long Fei. At this time, the white deer saw that Chushan Haidu had already retired, and his heart was more proud. Come, your legend has gone? Who else, stand up. Without my boss, I will let you know what is called despair. Very arrogant. The white deer has been fearless and the winner is in the grip. Because for him, the biggest threat is the elders of Chu Shanhai and Shan Haizong. Now that Chu Shanxi has left, there is no threat as long as there is a Longfei and a heavy sacred mountain. Everything is enough to push horizontally. At this point, a dead silence. The more the white deer is arrogant, the more people are Shan Haizong. It's like an old saying, the difficulty is like a spring, and if you are weak, he is strong. At this time, the white deer, for Shan Haizong, is a huge stone that is pressed in the heart, cannot be pushed, cannot avoid. Therefore, one mountain Shanmen people can only gnash their teeth, and they are extremely resentful. But in the end, no one dared to speak. Dragon's is also a face, wrapped in an invincible position, swaying above the void, overlooking everything. But at this time, I will open the door. Since it can't be played, forget it. Now, no one will be good for anyone. Isn't Chu Shanxi said? Wait until the road to Tongxian is higher, so simply let it stop. Will be said to the heavy fairy. As soon as this was said, Shan Haizong's people were relieved. Just like a machete hanging over the head, it is finally taken away, without the pressure of death. However, the white deer is not happy. Old man, which side are you on? Said the white deer. Hate. I am very dissatisfied with this choice of the heavy fairy. After that, look at Longfei. Boss, how can we get it? Asked the white deer. Obviously, it has been left to the words of the heavy fairy. Dragon's is slightly indulged, and the corner of his mouth is slightly provoked. There is no interest in suppressing these people. It's better to wait for the road. Compared to them, I would like to know more, if Chushanhai is completely dead, how desperate they will be. Long Fei said that the momentum on his body was slightly reduced. Then, no more words to say, turned and step by step toward the broken cultivation. The white deer sighed and sighed, and the face was stunned. Obviously, Long Fei is in its mind and its position is extremely heavy. The construction of the horse is also a slam, ready to retreat. As for the people of Shan Haizong, I dare to say a word at this time. Ji Zhongmo and Shan Haizong glanced at the coldness, and his eyes were detaching from the white deer and the Longfei. But in the end, I still did not say a word, and eventually left, stepping into the boundless mountains and seas, disappeared. At this time, above the void, those disciples who were fortunate enough to enter the Shanhaizong and enter the attached Zongmen of Tongxian Road have long been scared. Even though they are among the sects, they also have the name of genius. I also lived in the world and wanted to win the best name. But now, seeing the battle of Longfei, all eyes are collapsing. There is no hope in the eyes. The heart is dead. With them, I still want to fight on the road of Tongxian. There is absolutely no possibility at all, any hope. Can be said that one reads heaven and one goes to hell. The moment before, I still felt that as long as I entered Tongxian Road, I would be able to make progress and become a world lower. But now there is only endless despair. Nothing else, just Longfei is too strong. Strong enough to make them shudder. Therefore, as the Shanhai clan retreats, he also followed. Below, Longfei did not care about shrugging, and this result was also expected by him. Don't wait for dragon to fly, and step back to the place of cultivation with the night. At this time, the figure of the heavy fairy will follow. The kid, Tongxian Road will open tomorrow, and the kid will be handed over to you at that time. And on the road to Tongxian, be sure to beware of the Dark Emperor and the people on the water side. Chapter 4505. Chapter 4505. Time passed by. Overnight, the entire mountain Haizong was silent. On the second day, the sky was not bright. A shock swept through. The sea roared and directly awakened everyone. Longfei's eyes are condensed. Tongxian Road opened. For a moment, with the dragon flying a word. The white deer, the 96 horses, the night child and the world's Longfei all come to the spirit. However, the current form is dominated by Longfei. Therefore, Long Fei did not say much. And Long Fei also knows that he should play at this time, directly saying, "Let's go, Tongxian Road is the ultimate battlefield." Long Fei said, "Take the lead. Then, the white deer and others will follow directly." Long Fei and the Night Child are also close behind, but the position is at the end. After a while, several people have already arrived at the top of the mountain. At this time, the mountains and seas have gathered countless people. The Shanhai sect and the elders of the elders are also using their means to bring out the shadow of the mountains and seas, and cross the world, and there is an illusory road between them. In this illusory road, a sigh of excitement emerges from it, as if it is a true immortal force, which makes people want to be happy. "Boss, this is Tongxian Road," said the white deer. The eyes are flashing and full of expectations. After all, Tongxian Road is the most mysterious legend on the entire mainland, not one of them. Even if he has always let go of his way, he is full of desire in the face of Tongxian Road. Long Fei nodded and said nothing. In the rear, Long Fei's heart is also a slight move. He is not clear about the mystery of Tongxian Road, but it can make the system specially designated as a part of the task, which is a copy for him. The copy, the biggest function, for Long Fei, is not experience or treasure hunt. Greatly, according to the Heavy Fairy, this Tongxian Road basically gathers all the Zhongmen forces in the mainland of Tongxian. Like Shanhaizong, there are already more than 20,000 people, so there are only a lot left. 1,000,000 copies. Long Fei is also excited. Looking at the road that has emerged in the void, it has been difficult to suppress. At this time, the Night Child charm seems to be caught in an extremely complicated state, looking at the sly road in front of him. His eyes are constantly flickering. It seems that this is extremely awesome with Tongxian Road. All of this, naturally, but the eyes of Long Fei. Long Fei is not known, but the mind has already moved. It seems that this Tongxian Road is definitely not simple. Night Child and Little White Deer, you are in the end. What is the identity? Long Fei thought of it. The eyes hang down slightly. Even there has been a strong shock in the mind, that is, on the road to Tongxian, everything will be decrypted. Including the identity of the Night Child, as well as the singularity of the White Deer, will produce a result. One thought of this, Long Fei once again locked his eyes on Tongxian Road, faintly moving. Suddenly, the plan of the emptiness above the emptiness, as well as the master of the mountains and seas, the two men condensed and both closed their hands. Then I was shocked. Break the soul and walk the way. All the way through the fairy, all the way to the soul. On the road to the fairy, life and death by the sky. Can you be prepared? Asked Zhong Zhongmo. The result is clear, the silence of all. Everyone has only endless expectations in their eyes. Even if they know that it is impossible, they want to get a chance on this road. Therefore, it is impossible for anyone to quit at this time. At this point, there is only one kind of information in the eyes of all of them. That is greed. Under the trend of desire, it is impossible for everyone to withdraw at this time. Even the people in the attached ancestral hall of Shanhaizong did not have an opening. I saw the horror of Long Fei and the power of Shanhaizong. They have not expected to get any chance to get back on this road. But exit is also impossible. Ji Zhongmu nodded slightly and continued, "Good, if that's the case, then start going in. However, before everyone goes in, they need to go over a lot of mountains and seas so that you can get into them and find each other quickly. After all, Tongxian Road is very dangerous. You only have to follow my legend, only to survive," said. Ji Zhongmo nodded slightly to the Shanhai sect. Shanhaizong's main skin laughs and his mouth moves. Dice. Under the spur of the mountains and seas, the mountains and the sea suddenly burst into a mysterious light, and immediately a burst of breath emerged from them. Brush it. 1 minute 2/3, it's just a blink of an eye, and the air of the mountains and seas is turned into more than 20,000. Hey! More than 20,000 words of mountain and sea spirits scattered in the hands of the mountains and seas, and instantly fell into the bodies of countless Shanhai disciples and some 10,000 disciples. Moreover, there are a few scattered ones that come to the impact of Longfei and others. In the heart of Longfei, I heard it directly to Longfei and asked if I could avoid it. Longfei was slightly sinking and shook his head slightly. The mind of the mountain sea master has long been clear in his heart. The so-called mountain and sea spirit is nothing more than trying to understand the whereabouts of everyone. Say what is safe to stay close to you. However, they are all excuses. The real purpose of the Shanhai sect is nothing more than to find their place through this mountain and sea atmosphere. And this is exactly what Longfei wants to control. After all, Tongxian Road is so mysterious that it is too difficult to find someone. But if you let the other person find yourself, it will be much easier to kill them one by one. The experience of getting started, don't be white. Thinking of this, Longfei will tell the current Longfei that he is leading. With the reply from Longfei, the world's Longfei no longer hesitates, saying directly, without resisting, these people just want to find us through this power. This is also convenient for us to hunt. Longfei said. The white deer and Jianma eyes will be bright, and the direct exploration of this mountain and sea device will be integrated into the body. At the same time, on the top of the mountain, Chu Shanhai reappears. Still a kind of unpredictable posture. It's like being above everything else. Shan Haizong disciples listened to orders, and I set foot on Tongxian Road. Chu Shan Hailang said, the gaze of the gaze, looking at Longfei and others, flashed a trace of disdain, like a provocation to make a dagger. Then, take the step and take the road directly. And then followed by a figure directly into it. It was as dense as a swarm of bees, all of which rushed in. Longfei looked at the void and was proud of the master of the mountain and the plan, and snorted, thinking, the road to the fairy in your eyes is in the eyes of Laozi, but it is a super copy. And your legend will eventually become the boss of Lao Tzu. Thinking in my heart, Longfei's heart moved. And Longfei also looked at Longfei at this time. When he saw Longfei nodded slightly, he said, Go, let's go in. Chapter 4506. Chapter 4506. On the road of Tongxian, the figures of Longfei and others stood side by side. But the deeper you are, the more you can feel the bursts of scent from it. Beware, this road is estimated to have come to an end. Longfei said. Night Child is also nodding. Yes, this road is just a bridge linking Tongxian mainland. The real Tongxian Road is more horrible than here. Night Child said. Longfei is smiling and asking, Do you seem to know how to look? Night Child winks and blinks, avoiding the eyes of Longfei. In short, you will know when you get there. And, on the road to Tongxian, it's not as simple as you think, it's terrible. And this bridge is also incomplete, and it was divided into 3 years ago. So, as long as you reach the end of the bridge, you will be ingested by the power of Tongxian Road. So when we arrive, we may be dispersed into the unknown area. The Night Child charmed the problem of flying dragons and said, But the front is explaining another problem. Longfei chuckled and did not continue to ask questions. However, my heart is more curious about the true style of the night. You know, this Tongxian Road has never been alive and going out, but the Night Child charms can be said so clearly, as if entering the general, how to make Longfei not shocked. Even Longfei has a strange guess. Imagine that the identity of this night will be related to the goddess in the great world. However, everything is unknown, and this kind of guess is feasible, and Longfei does not know. But at this time, the conversation between the two people made the white deer very uncomfortable and said directly, Kid, I already know that you are just a foreign disciple of Shan Haizong. If my boss is sorry for you, I will give you a chance. Can you have a chance? Impossible. So, you have to remember, it is my boss who has fulfilled you. You should be grateful, you should swear to follow my boss, not to question me," said the white deer, with a bit of badness in his eyes. Jianma is also a hateful stare at Longfei, with a heavy nose, as if he is already faintly with a few warnings. A dragon flies, and immediately smiles in the heart. In the minds of the two, the night child is directly became a big man. Now that his identity and the world of Tongxian are in their own right, they are still walking together with the night. It seems a little embarrassing, and Longfei quietly looked at the night child and looked at it. I saw that the night child at this time was indifferent and did not seem to care. However, just in the moment when Longfei's eyes were recovered, it was discovered that there was a blush on the face of the night. "Oh, woman!" Longfei's heart moved. "I feel that there is a play. Moreover, such a mysterious and powerful and beautiful woman who does not look like." Longfei simply did not intend to miss it. But it is not now. After Longfei listened to the words of Bailu, his eyes moved slightly, but he ignored it and said, "It's better to be careful. If you enter this Tongxian road, we are too far away, and we will follow the guidance of the mountains and the sea. Get together as close as possible," Longfei said. It is revealed that this problem has been revealed. Although the white deer is in the heart. But after all, I didn't say much. As time goes by, this road has finally come to an end. At the end, it is a hollow. In the hollow there is an infinitely eternal breath that bursts out of it. The people of Shanhaizong have also appeared in front of several people. Chu Shanhai turned and said to Longfei, "Wait, Tongxian Road is your death." Dragons plucking, gazing at the eyes of Chushanhai, said, "This sentence is just what I want to say to you, wipe your neck and die. Directly hard to go back." And this sentence is also the meaning of Longfei itself. It's just that it's just said through the mouth of Longfei. For Chushanhai, Longfei has not played with the other party, and the system cannot display digital display. But Longfei can be sure. This cliff is a boss. It is impossible to let him go. Moreover, the purpose of Longfei to enter this Tongxian road is to step through the road. Since it is stepping over, it will kill all the dissatisfaction and pass through the road. Therefore, not only Chushanhai, but even everything related to Chushanhai, Longfei did not intend to give up. At this time, Chu Shanhai heard the words of Longfei, and he was unmoved. His eyes were slightly stunned. "I hope that on the road to Tongxian, you still have the courage to say this. This legend wait for you." After saying that, Chushanhai stepped out. It went directly into the endless void. Behind him, tens of thousands of Shanhai disciples followed closely and disappeared on this road. "Boss, absolutely can't stand it. Wait for the first thing to enter Tongxian Road, that is to kill him," the white deer said. His eyes were cold, staring at the direction of Chushanhai. Reassured, he can't escape. Longfei said one, and then went to the end of the road. Soon, a few people came to the empty space, endless unknown and dark voids, making people feel trembled. Especially Longfei, at this time, the heart is more than beating. Because of this hollow, a very familiar atmosphere instantly emerged. The atmosphere of Wanjie? Is this Tongxian Road, the Star Sea? I am Chao, ha ha ha, if that's the case, then it's awesome. My brother, there is little Invincible, I don't know how you are doing now. Longfei thought, some can't wait. If this Tongxian Road is really the Star Sea, the first thing Longfei needs to do is to blast all the way. Although the task of mirroring the world is important, it can only be relegated to secondary times compared to its own relatives and brothers. Thinking of this, Longfei no longer pauses, does not wait for the dragon-flying action, step by step, and first entered this hollow. Brush. In an instant Longfei's eyes changed. An intractable force instantly engulfs the dragon. This makes Longfei's creative power work at this moment. Brush the brush. Numerous scenes whizzed past Longfei's eyes, and Longfei's creative power also dominated at this time, breaking free from the unknown power. However, in front of the scene, I still let Long Fei be shocked. The peaks are stacked and shocking. The towering peaks stand in the sky, and the lonely peaks, like a strong man, stand tall. There are countless broken arm wrecks, and also reveals an ancient and decadent taste, as if a fairy had been sitting here, leaving an endless ferry. Ai Chao, this Tongxian road, is also a small world? Long Fei was shocked and looked at everything in front of him, shocked. Cannot wait for Long Fei to think more. A familiar voice appears again. Hey, congratulations to the players entering the Pantheon. Chapter 4507. Chapter 4507, Tongxian Corner Battlefield? Long Fei's eyes can't stop growing. Even though he can now say that the world is wide and wide, he is surprised to hear the prompt of the system. Tongxian Road is a gladiator? Who is the gladiator? Is it human or what? It won't be. Should all the 9 or 6 people entering each other fight? For a moment, Long Fei's mind was flooded. But the system will not lie, since the prompt, it proves that above the map is a corner field. System, what is going on? The arena? Who fight? Long Fei thought, sinking, asked. Hey, congratulations to the player for triggering special missions to eradicate 90,000 people in the arena. Task difficulty, Level A, task time, 7 days. Task reward, Tongxian Ranch Pass. Task punishment, eliminate Tongxian Road. The system sound reappears. And then, Long Fei saw his own system interface about the introduction of the task. I finally realized that this so-called gladiator field has already covered the entire Tongxian Road. Just like a competition, only powerful people can go on. It is also living, and now all the people who have entered Tongxian Road have been covered by such rules. However, unlike Long Fei has system tasks, and they may be because of a certain conflict, but in any case, the final result is the same. Tongxian Road is destined to become a place. Those who can really stay are qualified to truly enter the core of Tongxian Road. This is the system's reward this time, the pass for Tongxian Ranch. Want to understand this? Long Fei eyes in a condensate, killing up. For Nyozime and others, Long Fei is not worried. With their fighting power, it is not difficult to kill some people on this Tongxian Road and get the final qualifications. I am afraid that they will meet Chushanhai too early. After all, although Chu Shanhai has never shot, but it can make Ji Zhongmo and Shan Haizong host such a big hope, there is absolutely his extraordinary. Therefore, what Long Fei really worried is that they will meet Chushanhai in advance. There should be no such thing, and the real purpose of Chushanhai is me. As long as I keep on the momentum and attract the attention of Chushanhai, there is no problem. Long Fei said. Long Fei settled in the heart. The eyes are locked on the task. In 7 days, competing for 90,000 people, each time they kill one person, they can get a special mark. Seeing this, Long Fei's eyes are condensed. According to the theory of heavy celestial beings, the number of other forces will not be less. The forces of the 3 parties, at least 60,000 people, plus some other inheritance. This Tongxian Road, the number should be more than 100,000. 100,000 people. I want to kill 90,000 people. Long Fei was shocked. I think the system is really a pit. On the entire Tongxian Road, only 100,000 people came in, and others want to get qualified, but they are much simpler than themselves. Basically hundreds of times others. However, in the thought of turning, Long Fei no longer cares. On the road of Tongxian, killing one person or killing thousands of people, there is no difference to Long Fei. Moreover, since the system has set such a task, there must be special intentions. One thought of this, Long Fei directly put down what he thought, and he knew it and started searching directly. However, the area in front of us is too vast, and there is an inexplicable force in the persuasive perception. Even if the power of the dragon and the spirit of the dragon is powerful, it is also suppressed at this time, and the soul is scattered. Even the territory of the 100 miles is perceived. Not enough. Oh, if the flower fairy is still alive, it will be fine. Long Fei's heart sank. The flower fairy in the mind flashed. If the flower fairy is still there, with the ability of the flower fairy, it is basically equivalent to hanging on this map. 1,000,000 square miles directly to the eye. Thinking of this, Long Fei's heart is a bit sad. But very soon, in the eyes of Long Fei, flashed a firm, "But don't worry when I come to the end. Even if it breaks through time and space, it will bring you back to life." Long Fei's heart sank and he snorted. Long time has not been forgotten. They walked for Long Fei, abandoned themselves, helped the dragon fly to kill Xian Emperor, and Long Fei naturally would not forget. However, it is too mysterious about life and death. Although Long Fei now says that he has enough power to ride the world, he still can't do it if he wants to resurrect a person who has already completely gone. But Long Fei believes that as long as he keeps moving forward, one day enter the Supreme Plane. As long as you enter the Supreme Plane, everything is possible. Thinking in my heart, Long Fei suppressed the extra thoughts in his heart, leaving only one idea, that is the competition. After one day, Long Fei's figure went 100 miles. But along the way, in addition to some natural birds and beasts, Long Fei did not see a figure. Even more, these birds and beasts are unusually in existence. There is no power at all. It is equivalent to saying that a little experience will not bring Long Fei. This map is a bit strange. It goes without saying that the existence of a legendary myth, there will still be such a primitive species? Long Fei hands tore off a piece of barbecue to supplement the basic consumption. But in the eyes, it is not calm. Because of this mission, there are only 7 days in total. Now the day has passed and no one has seen it. Moreover, Long Fei even suspected that because he was not the person of the mainland, he was treated specially and directly into a no-man's land. If it is true, don't say 7 days, that is, for half a month, Long Fei can't find anyone at all. And this result is terrible. Long Fei simply could not step through Tongxian Road. Even if it hasn't started yet, it will be expelled directly. No, I have to speed up. Otherwise, it is very likely to be expelled. Long Fei's heart was tight, but immediately the face appeared helpless. Looking at the world, my heart suddenly became powerless. However, suddenly, a flash of incomparable breath passed. Immediately, just a few breaths of time, there are thousands of unsearchable forces, directly appearing in the cover of Long Fei's knowledge. Unima is hitting a sect? In an instant, Long Fei's heart is not mad. In the gaze, the light flashes, and he gets up straight and solves the barbecue in front of him. He jumps up and down like a dry land and jumps 100 miles, and in front of his eyes there are thousands of figures. More coincidentally, these people are disciples of Shan Haizong. Among them, the highest is the peak of the real person and the core disciple. So many people are gathered here, is it necessary to set up a base camp? Long Fei thought that the more he thought, the more likely it was. Immediately, my heart began to get excited. In this case, open the infinite brush mode. How much to kill? Chapter 4508. Chapter 4508. When Long Fei's heart moved, he wanted to shoot. At this time, the change is sudden, because there are more and more people gathered in front of you. Moreover, a personal shadow seems to appear out of thin air, falling directly from the void. It is as if there is a certain transmission matrix method above this void. This general change let Long Fei's figure come to an abrupt end. Long Feiqiang resisted the desire to shoot, stopped on the void, and fixed his eyes. After that, my mind changed and directly changed the power of creation, just like the whole world. Although these people are quite a few, they are still far from the 90,000 people that Long Fei wants. Moreover, Long Fei instinctively perceives that these people will appear here at the same time, not simple. Although his power of the soul can only perceive hundreds of miles, these people seem to be in common, very strange. Therefore, Long Fei's heart wants to know the reasons why these people appear at the same time. It is necessary to look at what is the situation. Long Fei mind emptied, looking down. At this time, the bottom has also been messed up. Ah, what is this place? The 9th battlefield? Where is this? Can you say that we want to kill each other? Well, it's the people of the Dark Emperor. You are careful. A horrified voice broke out from the crowd. And these disciples of Shan Haizong spontaneously gathered together at this time, and they waited for it. Because this second wave of people is not a disciple of Shan Haizong, but a person of the Dark Emperor. In the same way, the people of the Dark Xian Mazong also descended on thousands of people. The most powerful one is already the peak of the real person, and the strongest person of Shan Haizong is equal. Ha ha ha, is a disciple of Shan Haizong, this group of waste, is this not white to give us the head? Yeah, this battlefield will eventually leave 10,000 places. And this time our dark mysterious sex entered this battlefield just 10,000 people, not exactly for us. That's great. These disciples of Shan Haizong are a group of abandoned sons. It is simply the welfare that is sent to us. Compared with the tension of Shan Haizong, the people of the Dark Xian Mazong are excited. Looking at the people of Shan Haizong, it is like a lamb sent to his mouth, full of greed. Long Fei listens to everything in the void. The heart must be. Sure enough. Long Fei's eyes moved and he looked at the person in front of him and sneered. All of this, and really is the same as his guess. He can trigger system tasks. Naturally, there must be corresponding restrictions on this road. And now they are talking about the 9th battlefield. It also explains everything. Hey, the 9th battlefield, that is to say, there are 9 battlefields on this Tongxian road? Long Fei's heart was pleasantly surprised. According to the Dark Emperor, the 9th battlefield can leave 10,000 people, so the rest should not be too bad. According to the base calculated by myself, this 9th battlefield should have at least tens of thousands of people. Ha ha ha, cool. Before Laozi was still able to complete the mission, this is the direct coming. When you just kill a few battlefields, aren't you coming? Long Fei was excited and his eyes were shining. At this time, above the entire sky, once again, Xuanguang was shocked, and one figure after another fell from the void. In general, there is no difference. The only difference is that this time it is a woman. A woman of all colors. And these women are all in white, slowly falling from the void, like the immortals. There are some not to taste the fireworks. Seeing this scene, Long Fei is also amazed. It's a person on the water side, ha ha ha, well, everyone on the water side has already come out. It looks like it is enough. Hey, it's a pity that it's a pity. It's a pity that it's a pity. This is not easy. Before dying, let them try a cloud of Wushan. It will not do. If they die, they will not let them go in the world. The dark, mysterious people are mad. The light of sinfulness in the eyes is great. Humph. The person on the water side is crying coldly. Then they spontaneously gathered together. For a time, the 3 pillars stood apart and the 3 forces were separated. But at this time, Long Fei above the void is guilty. There are a lot of people in front of you. But in addition to the Dark Xian Mo Zong people have more than 10,000, the remaining Shan Haizong and the people on the water side add up to less than 10,000. In other words, the total number is only 20,000, which is quite different from what Long Fei thinks. In the water side of the sister, it is better to join hands. The dark mysterious sects are crowded, they are destroyed, and we are tens of thousands of people, just to be able to leave the battlefield. At this time, Shan Haizong said that he was the highest core disciple. Yeah, my sister, we can only survive if we join hands. Yes, these reptiles in the dark, everyone has to smash it, we have teamed up to do them. The disciples of Shan Haizong kept open and their eyes filled with hopes, and they urgently wanted to get a response on the water side. At this time, people on the water side also fell into a contemplation. But only for a moment, a woman-headed said, "Good! We work together to deal with the Dark Emperor." After that, the two sides directly joined together. And the dragon flying above the void, watching the scene in front of him, is also entangled. He can kill, but he doesn't want to kill. If it is a dark, mysterious person, Long Fei will not have a psychological burden. With the violence of violence, Long Fei will not care. The people of Shanhaizong will kill when they kill. After all, he and Shan Haizong are now in the same league. However, this person on the water side has no complaint. If you let Long Fei hurt the killer, there are still some difficulties. However, I changed my mind, and the next sentence on the water side was to let Long Fei's heart chill, and all the difficulties have disappeared. I don't know if you entered the road to Tongxian Road. The person who killed the elders of Wang is not there? Asked the woman headed by the water side. The madman? Of course, it's coming, but it's useless to come. No matter which battlefield he is on, it's destined to be a dead end. My legendary disciple has already booked his head, and he will die. Why, does the teacher know him? Asked the core disciple of Shan Haizong. I don't know the cognition, but the elders of Wang's elders before the death of Zong's ancestors, this son since the elders of Wang, we are on the water side, naturally will not let him easily. The woman on the water side said. As soon as this was said, Shan Haizong's characters did not have ecstasy on his face. Because the two sides have a common enemy, it will be more logical to cooperate. Haha, my sister is relieved, even though the boy is extraordinary, but on this road, it is also a destined idea. But now it is still the first to solve the dark mysterious people. Shan Haizong's core disciple said. On the void, Long Fei has a cold eyes. Mom, swearing. I wanted to leave you a life, but now it seems unnecessary. Since I want to chase down Lao Tzu, if I kill it, I will have no worries. Chapter 4509. Chapter 4509. In the sixth battlefield, the war has started. The sky was oppressed, the darkness was empty, the rolling earth cracked open, and countless mountains and trees were destroyed. The figure of Long Fei is twirling, and the fists are alternated. And his side is built. At this time, Jianma also evolved to a complete state. 2 feet, picking up the thunder of heaven and earth, smashing in the air, shocking the sky. Countless monsters are directly scorched under this power. Become a body. Yes, it is the Yaozu. Master, this time Tongxian Road is weird. Although I entered for the first time, but on the road to Tongxian, there has never been a demon. Because the 3 major sects control, there is no such thing as a demon. But now, this battlefield is basically all Yaozu. Jianma gasped and said to the Long Fei in front of him. In front of him, but the demon army, and he and Long Fei first time, gathered together, relying on the strength of the two, is also invincible. It seems that this time the Tongxian Road is really not simple. Long Fei said. Extremely indifferent. Behind my feelings there is a big hand in control, just like shuffling. Long Fei said. The entire Tongxian Road gave him an unusual feeling. It's like everything, it's controlled by a pair of invisible big hands. Take him. Anyway, if you survive in this battlefield, then everything is not a problem. Who is obstructing us and killing them directly? To the Master, we can survive thousands of people on this battlefield, but now it seems that we don't need that much, as long as we are 2. Jianma said. Very arrogant in the eyes. If Long Fei is here, you will feel extremely painful. Tens of thousands of monsters. If all of them become experience, how much? It is impossible to estimate, and maybe it is enough for Long Fei to upgrade. Long Fei, slightly decapitated, and nodded. Okay, then they all smash them. Long Fei was a deep scream. Immediately it is boundless killing. And this scene is not just the battlefield. From the 3rd to the 9th, everything is the same. In the 3rd battlefield, Chushanhai swept the enemy with an enemy, swept the enemy in an invincible manner, and no one was Sakura. However, there is not much killing in Chushanhai. As long as the number of people left is enough, it will not continue. The fourth battlefield. The dragon is the hegemony, the demon chasing the following, the dark mysterious genius suffered heavy losses. The fifth battlefield, the dark mysterious sect of the town of the world, the magic of the world, a force of the sky. The seventh station, the big disciple on the waterside, Zhan Tai Ling Xiu, to turn the tide, such as the ferry, sweeping all enemies. The eighth battlefield is the world of the Yaozu. None of the three disciples survived. Until the ninth battlefield, it was still quiet at this time. The three sects did not carry out any fighting. Nothing else, just because of one person. That is Longfei. At this point, Longfei is no longer hidden. The figure emerged above the void. It's you? Are you a foreigner who was brought in by the madman? I don't think you have already come to the ninth battlefield. But it's useless. Don't expect us to protect you. Your traitor, whoever is close to the madman, will die. Yes, now that there is no madman, you are a dish. As soon as the dragon figure appeared, Shan Haizong's disciples began to scream crazy. A look of disdain. In their view, Longfei is now seeking to be blessed. At the same time, the person on the waterside turned his face indifferently and looked at Longfei. Since it has something to do with the thief, then you don't have to think about it. Shimmy, you are going to kill him. The woman headed by the waterside was cold and casually said. Because of the fighting power that Longfei now shows, even the heavens are not there. They naturally won't look in the eye. Even with it, why did Longfei appear in this area, and they are indifferent? At the moment, they only have one idea, and that is to kill Longfei first. The people of the dark mysterious emperor are more enjoyable, and they embrace their arms one by one, as if they are winning the same, and they are proud of their faces. Hey, is a person who is open to the world so exaggerating? Useless waste. But it's too much to do. If we want to help you, the dark mysterious sects will help you. Anyway, in the end, you are all dead, and all of them die in our hands, and they can't afford this trip. The people of the dark Xian Mazong said proudly. A look of disdain. Hey! Shanghai Zong people feel shameful, and they clench their fists. But in a blink of an eye, I looked at Longfei and the killings broke out. At this moment, they all humiliated this, all on the dragon's head. If it wasn't for the sudden emergence of Longfei, they would follow the previous cooperation. The morale was high, and the Dark Emperor was killed, and there was a chance of winning. When Longfei appeared, they were excited, but they were stimulated by the dark Xian Mazong. Immediately, the core disciple of Shan Haizong couldn't help but say, "Sister, the Dark Emperor is too odious. Only when we shoot can we stabilize the military and fight with them." On the water side, the heavenly strongman listened and focused on the key point. Yes, in this case, the sister will take the shot and solve the waste, and then fight the people of the Dark Emperor. Said, the woman looked at one person around her. And the sister in her mouth, at this time, the hands of the bright silver sword, directly out of the sheath. The thief, come to life. A splendid drink, the long sword directly turned to the void, stabbed to Longfei. Brush. The sword is light and spiritual, just like the fusion between heaven and earth. A sword came out, and the entire ninth battlefield suddenly fell into a hollow stage. But only for a moment. Everyone will wake up. Haha, good means, the sword on the water side, it really is extraordinary. This kid can die under this sword, enough to be proud. Hey, a little person who is not known, it is his privilege. Shan Haizong and his disciples on the water side opened their mouths, and a flash of hope in the eyes, looking at the dark Xian Mo-zong, also gave birth to war. The people of the dark Xian Ma-zong also became a bit more solemn at this moment. Humph! With a cold scream, the people of the dark mysterious emperor looked at Longfei. The heart is also a hate. For these, Longfei naturally does not care. Not to mention that it is uninformed and becomes the eye of everyone. Even if it is said clearly, Long Fei will not shrink back. After all, his goal is to turn the crowd. At this time, the woman's sword on the water side suddenly appeared again. If the restaurant is overturned, it will be stabbed straight. Great sword. Swords falling from the sky? Useless. Long Fei smiled lightly. Although this sword is amazing, it can be for Long Fei. It is the children who play house, and the children play. Hey! The next moment, Long Fei raised his left hand 2 fingers, and the long sword that fell from the sky was caught in his hand. Hey! The inch is broken. And Long Fei, his eyes are also condensed at this time, and he said to himself, "Since you have already shot, then the killing start here." Chapter 45:10. Chapter 45:10. Long Fei's eyes are cold and unparalleled. This 9th battlefield, he shot, then everything is the foil. Brush. When the dragon flew, he explored directly into the void and dropped the sword directly from the void. Then the power of creation will work directly, and this sword will be directly smashed. Is this also called a sword? Long Fei smiled lightly. Like the eyes of the gods, swept across the crowd. And this scene, the 3 people are instantly shocked. Especially the woman who shot on the water side. At this time, she suddenly pulled out. But it is too late. Her figure has just shone with silver, and a group of light has fallen from the sky. It is the flying sword that Long Fei has made this long sword. Hey! A loud noise. The woman who shot on the water side was directly hit by the sword that was made by this own sword. Even the screams are too late to turn into a pool of blood fog. Sister! A big dog, even those who are on the water side dare to kill. It's really looking for death. Everyone, kill him first. For a moment the anger was everywhere. The disciple on the water side suddenly rises to the sky. In the moment, the light and shadow, between the whole world and the earth, are all over the sword. Between the swords and the shadows, they directly swept the whole world. Brush it. Dozens of disciples on the water side have swords, and the swords of the heavens are unparalleled, turning into an infinite sword rain. At this moment, even the people of the dark mysterious emperor did not dare to take a nap, and they avoided it, for fear of being affected by this power. But Long Fei, but still silent, completely ignored. The whole body stood above the void, and looked coldly at each other with swords. Not self-reliant. I never wanted to kill a woman, except for the monks. And obviously, a group of you are all swearing. Long Fei's eyes condensed and killed. There was a punch between them. Boom. Hey. Rumble. A fist out. The power of creation is crazy. And then, the atmosphere of Long Fei's body is constantly rising. In the late days of the celestial beings, in the early days of the real people, between the real people and the late eyes, Long Fei's cultivation is directly stepping into the realm of human beings. And as Long Fei's body is repaired, he is centered on him and directly forms an energy group. Burst! The dragon sighed and screamed. Boom! Infinite power vents out and directly floods the sky. Hey! Then, dozens of female disciples on the water side of Long Fei's hands were directly wrapped up in this storm, and there was no chance of struggling. Not only that, the power of Long Fei is too violent, and those close to the disciples, whether on the water side, or the dark mysterious genius, or the disciple of Shan Haizong, have thousands of people also wrapped in this power. Seriously injured. To the people. No, it's impossible. You are just a foreign disciple of Shan Haizong. How could this kind of cultivation be possible? You are still a junk in the past, you. Shan Haizong's only core disciple, horrified. The eyes are full of incredible. I can't believe what I saw at the moment. This is too shocking. Of course, there are not many people in the crowd who can see through Long Fei, and only tens of thousands of people see it. But at this time, the person opened his mouth. Directly caused an uproar. Rumble. In an instant, everyone's body begins to fall back without money. Crazy retrogression. Run, how do you fight? Even people come out, what are we playing? What is the fairy tale? What the world will, is deceiving. There are still 10,000 places, which is completely a big pit. Yes, I want to go out and let Lousy go out. I don't want to enter this fairy road anymore. For a time, the sound of amazement. This moment, what is the dark mysterious genius, what Shan Haizong, what is on the water side, all are a joke. Don't say that Longfei is an ordinary realm of human beings. It is definitely not something they can compete with. Longfei is also a glimpse. I did not expect that these people will react so strongly. However, just in time, Longfei does not want to delay time. After all, he doesn't have much time. There are only 5 days left, and there is still a long way to go from his mission goals. Therefore, Longfei has no need to hide at all. However, the dialogue of these people also made Longfei's heart deliberately remember. Tongxian Monument? World will? It seems that on this road, there are really things I don't know. Longfei thought in his heart. Slightly raise your head and lock the 3 people in front of you. At the moment, among the 3 sects, except for a few that have been smashed by the peaks of the heavens and humans, the entire 9th battlefield has become a mess. Countless figures overlap, crazy dodge. I want to get out of this battlefield. Just at this time, the change is sudden. A pressure is directly falling from the sky and directly shrouded. Then, it was a mysterious pattern that suddenly appeared between them. Just like the activation of a certain kind of power, it directly formed an invisible obstacle and bound everyone to death. Longfei also felt this kind of power at this time. Even he can capture this emptiness and have a very strong will. As if controlling the entire Tongxian road, you will be able to control everything as you fall. In an instant, Longfei's expression changed. I don't know why, a sudden pressure has made Longfei feel inexplicably familiar. It is as if I have seen it before. But no matter how Longfei thinks, I can't think of an answer. Mom, no matter who you are, I will definitely find you out. But now, it's important to do something right. Longfei's heart must be in the eyes. And just after the dragon flew back, a killing intention was also instantaneously broken. Kill! We joined forces and killed him after winning him. Yes, the 3 factions have joined forces. Only in this way will there be a chance. Among the 3 factions, the highest number of people were made to make choices in an instant, and they attacked. But I don't know, it's just a matter of doing it. The next moment, the dragon flew. With one hand and a fist, a punch hit. Boom! The power of cockroaches broke out in the fist of Longfei, and it was extremely violent. Wherever passed, the entire 9th battlefield is constantly shaking, as if to collapse under the dragon's fist. Not only that, but even the sudden drop of pressure, but also in the bombardment of Longfei, suddenly reduced. However, Longfei did not mean to stop. His eyes were like a torch, his fists were like a dragon, and he punched out with a punch and a punch. Hey! At this time, the figure was also under the power of Longfei, and was instantly blasted out. Heavy fall on the ground. How can you be so strong? Not good. Dark mysterious genius belongs to me, give it to me. The people of Shan Haizong, give me, or you will die sooner or later. The strongest of the 3 have opened their mouths, coagulated with both eyes, and feared abnormally. Chapter 45:11. Chapter 45:11. Countless figures began to counterattack, desperately, and rushed toward the dragon. At this point, they are like trapped beasts. If you want to survive, you can only fight hard. However, they are facing Longfei. Ah, everyone, together, the spitting star can drown him. He won't die, we will die. Yes, let's go together, we have a way to live. The 3 disciples are directly crazy. Watching the 3 strongest people were bombarded under the fist of Longfei, and they were seriously injured. They all collapsed directly. The last hope is extinct. Therefore, there is only one way ahead of them. In the face of life and death, people can always inspire strong courage. For a lifetime, they can only use death to fight. It's a pity that at this time, Long Fei is ready to sweep the battlefield, so even if they are desperate, it will not help. Long Fei's eyes were condensed, and countless forces swept over. Not moving. The arms were shaken and the fists were held. Stand still directly. Hey! Hey! Countless forces have come down. The sword is light and the shadow is magical. All the power came down and rushed into the station circle. The light of the sky directly filled the entire sky, and instantly drowned the figure of Long Fei. Ha ha ha, yes, that's it. The ants bite and kill him. What about people, so many people, he is dead. We are 3 factions, but the most quintessential power of the mainland, he has no possibility of surviving. At this time, a few people who had been flying by Long Fei also opened their mouth. They also shot at the moment. They wanted to hit the strength of all the disciples, and they would kill the dragons. Yes, from the beginning to the end, Long Fei did not move. Boom! A loud bang, a burst of light broke out in the center of the battlefield. Rumble! The world is roaring. Infinite power broke out in the 9th battlefield. This combination of tens of thousands of people is extremely powerful. It is completely comparable to the power of the human phase. It is Long Fei, and it is a slight meal at this time. Some accident. He did not think that these people now have such a huge force at the same time. However, it is far from reaching the level of fear. You must know that even if you are truly in front of Long Fei is not afraid. What about them? The ants bite dead, it doesn't exist. There are more ants, after all, ant. How can you bear the giant elephant? I miss this. A sneer appeared in the corner of the dragon's mouth, and both hands appeared and a long knife appeared. To deal with you, using the blade of the kings is a big problem. However, time is not allowed. The first king of the king, the mad dragon town. Long Fei backhanded a long stroke and a long knife. Roar! The mad dragon appeared immediately, and the dragon body ran rampage, directly blasting a gap around the crowd. Boom! Countless figures flew out, was hit by the mad dragon and instantly annihilated. What dragons? This is the power of the dragons, and this knife, you are the madman? I know, you are not a foreign disciple at all. That is the disguise you launched. The core disciple of Shan Haizong saw Long Fei's shot, and was awakened by this familiar power. He also exclaimed in an instant. At this moment, his face was gray. When he saw the moment when Long Fei got out of the knife, he understood everything. And this also means, they will die today. Because of the power of this knife, he is too familiar. Even though he was not a core disciple at the beginning, but for Long Fei to smash the core area, the murder of the 9 elders can also be seen clearly in the inner door area. Of course, it's not just him who is shocked. The strongest disciple on the water side is more eclipsed at this time. It's very wrong. Before I thought of killing Long Fei, my face was filled with the color of fear. The same is true of the Dark Emperor. The things that Long Fei did in Shanhaizong, they didn't know, but at this time they saw the face of Shan Haizong's core disciples, and their hearts had already appeared terrified. And the figure of Long Fei at this time also came out in the endless storm. It's useful to see it. Today's battlefield belongs to me alone. Even if you know it, you won't pass any news. Death is your only way home, Long Fei said. Then, the mad dragon swept again, whistling between the vertical and horizontal, and once again rushed into the crowd. This time it is also a crazy impact. Every time I whizzed, countless figures were hit and flew out, and I was blind. Brush it. Just a moment in time. The shadow of the mad dragon disappeared, and the entire 9th battlefield was also cleared. A knife, just a knife, all dry down. The only ones that can support the body, who have never died, are those who are strong. But even if it is not dead, it is already the end of power. Long Fei took the knife, just like the death of the world, step by step. No, don't kill me. Adult, let me go. As long as you let me go, I promise, I am willing to follow you. There are too many dogs walking around Chushanhai. I am willing to be a big dog and solve them for adult. Shan Haizong disciples directly ask for mercy. Killing thousands of people. He didn't even think about this kind of power. The horror of Long Fei has become his nightmare. Therefore, the heart of all struggles disappeared at this moment without a trace. There is only one thought in my heart, that is, begging for mercy. After him, several people of the dark Xian Mazong also came over instantly. Adults, forgive us. Shan Haizong is a group of dog-like things that can't be trusted. Since adults see that they are not pleasing to the eye, we can kill them completely. Yes, there is still a legend of mountains and seas. If they want to be an embarrassed adult, we will also ask my Zong's Henshi disciple to take the shot. As long as the adults can let us go, everything is fine. The people of the dark Xian Mazong said one by one. Can Long Fei, simply not moving? What is the legend of Shanghai? What is the world of Mazong? And the heart of Long Fei has never cared. Moreover, like the Chushan Sea, this boss level exists. Long Fei will be afraid? Impossible. The existence of such a cliff to explode can only make Long Fei have a high degree of war. As for the retreat? Non-existent. Moreover, Long Fei entered Tongxian Road this time, and there are system tasks in the body. All that is required is violent everything, and it turns over the ferry road. Therefore, their forgiveness, in the eyes of Long Fei, has no value. Thinking of this, Long Fei said directly, I think too much. I want to kill, than to say what legend, what is the world, even if you are the three sovereigns, what am I afraid? As for you, you can only be a stepping stone on my way to Tongxian, and that's it. Said, Long Fei waved his hand. Brush it. The knives flashed, and the bodies of several people were directly cut off by Long Fei, and the dead could not die any more. Also at this time, the system sound appears directly. Ding! Chapter 45:12. Chapter 45:12. Hey, congratulations to the player Dragon Flying killing the Tongxian Corner battlefield, 23,000 people, gaining 110 billion yuan, Lingyunji 10 billion, and Violent 1 point. Hey, congratulations to the player to get the imprint of the immortal, 23,000. The system sound appears. But apart from experience, nothing else. As for the imprint of the immortality, it is only a form of systemic task. With the appearance of the immortal imprint, his number of characters began to change, from 90,000 to 67,000. In other words, a mark represents a person's head. And as the entire 9th battlefield was completely destroyed, the will that had come to this world before was also collapsed, and even the power of the banned voids disappeared. 110 billion? Sure enough, the copy is really a holy place to brush. This is the beginning. According to this so-called battlefield rule, the rest will be stronger. But it also means that the experience will be more. Long Fei thought in his heart, his eyes flashed. Experience has never been too much. Originally, after the promotion of the Super Great Consummation, Long Fei's experience has already increased by 250 billion, and now there are 110 billion. Distance to 800 billion, and further. Even Long Fei feels that as long as the 90,000 kills are completed, they can be upgraded. Thinking of this, Long Fei's heart moved slightly. Step out and disappeared directly on the ground. At this time, in the center of Tongxian Road, a figure of the body descends directly from the sky. Starting from the 3rd battlefield Chushanhai, one after another came down. Haha, sure enough, I know that this is the case. We must be the first to come to our classmates. Yes, there are brothers and sisters, everything is a cloud. What dark mysterious demon, what is on the water side, is a joke. 10,000 people, a whole 10,000 people. 10,000 mountain disciples, no one fell. It can be said that the entire battlefield was handled by Chu Shanhai. With the mountain Haizong disciple, Enron returned. At this moment, the people belonging to Shan Haizong are all excited. This time, they can survive suddenly, which shows that they have the opportunity to enter the next leg. A closer step closer to the chance they want to get. Chu Shanhai's face is also a proud face. His eyes locked in a huge stone monument in front of him. The entire stone monument stands between the heavens and the earth, extremely mysterious. On the whole stone monument it is also the glory of the glory, the road is forever cast, people are very yearning. Similarly, with the appearance of Chu Shanhai and others. Above the entire monument there is also a line of words, like a sheet metal. The third battlefield, Chushanhai 20,000 enemy. Incomparably distinct, it is like a military medal recorded in the case. At this time, a figure flickers, directly breaking the sky, and descending with the Supreme King. Then, another magicality came. Rumble. Rumble. Very violent, very mad. It is as if they are the kings who dominate the entire Tongxian road. For a moment, the people of Shan Haizong changed their minds one by one and became nervous. The same is true of the people of the Dark Emperor. When they first arrived, they burst into laughter. Ha ha ha, the people of Shan Haizong are simply weak and terrible, and there are demon people, and on the water side these people are simply serving food. Well? Is the rookie of Shan Haizong already out? I don't think so, I still have a bit of a look. When the people of the Dark Xian Mazong come out, they are directly opposite each other. Originally, two people would not be able to deal with it. Meeting is a life and death vendetta. Nowadays, this contradiction has completely broken out on this Tongxian road. There is no scruples. The disciples of Shan Haizong were extremely ugly at this time. Immediately, some disciples could not help but open their mouths. Dark Xian Mazong is really arrogant, then how do you guess the second coming? Can you name it on the monument? A group of self-righteous idiots. Can't you see that Shan Haizong is the first to go out of the battlefield? The magic road town, the town hammer, a group of idiots. The disciple of Shan Haizong did not hesitate, and he spoke directly. Chu Shanhai's eyes at this time also looked at the disciple of Zhenshi in the Dark Emperor. The magic is mysterious, this day is finally here. Chu Shanhai said. What about that? When you were not my opponent, now you can love this Tongxian road, what can you do? The magic sense Xian smiled slightly, and the corner of his mouth flashed a sinister charm. In the eyes, the magic man's flashed. Extremely conceited. It seems that even the Chushan Sea has never been seen in the eyes. Hey, it was the beginning, did you think that I am still the former me? Too naive. At the level of you and me, can a miss be considered eternity? The magical sense, the original words are still valid, this pass on the road is your death. The Chushan Sea is in a chaotic atmosphere, and it is obviously extremely disgusting to the attitude of the magic sense. Yes? Then I will wait for you. I remember I said that next time I meet, I will let you know who is invincible. The magical feelings are not taken for granted, and the scorpion moves, and the cold light bursts. Chushan Sea is burning in anger. But in the face of such arrogant magical mystery, there is absolutely nothing to do. However, the thoughts turned, Chu Shanhai's gaze directly swept to the Tongxian monument. Suddenly, the mouth sneered again and again. Ha ha ha, ridiculous. But only in the battlefield killed more than 10,000. And this legend, directly killing 20,000 and breaking, what do you use to compare? Chu Shanhai smiled coldly. At this time, the talents noticed the numbers on the monument. I saw it, under the third battlefield before the mountain. Jump directly out of a number. The fifth stop. The magic sense Xian, the enemy 10,000. In an instant, along with this string of numbers, the people of Shan Haizong suddenly sneered. Ha ha ha, what do you say about yourself? It's not forcing. Tongxian Monument will not deceive people. A group of people who are enchanted dare to arrogate in front of me and take their own insults. A voice, the people of Shan Haizong, suddenly sneered. On the other hand, the Dark Emperor, at this time, is a red face, but the magical sense, but there is no slightest intention. It seems that this number is not a cold. Chushan Haishin is proud of it, watching the magical feelings of silence, the heart is more proud. But at this time, on the monument, the brilliance flashed again, and a dark golden light suddenly began to flash on it. Then, a line of words appears directly. The 6th battlefield, Longfei, enemies 21,000. And with it, the two figures came directly from the void. It is Longfei and Jianma. There are only two people. At this moment, Chushanhai's face was frosty. Similarly, the gaze of the magical sense is also suddenly seen between the dragon flying, the eyes are slightly stunned, and the killings are bursting. At this time, the gaze of Longfei also saw the Tongxian monument. But just glance at the understatement and stop going. It seems that there is absolutely no interest in the content on this monument. Chapter 45:13. Chapter 45:13. The name of dragon flying flashes above the monument. Very violent. Between the infinite brilliance and flashing, the names of Chu Shanhai and Mao Xian are crushed together and become the only one on the entire monument. Not only that, because the emergence of Longfei, the whole scene suddenly became extremely cold. The quarrel between Shan Haizong and the Dark 96 Xian Mazong also suddenly dissipated. The two factions are vying for the front, and there must be one party that is a strong party. But now, the name of Longfei has appeared, and it has directly crushed both sides, becoming the most dazzling presence on the monument. They also argued about a fart. Brush it. Also at this time, the number of figures fell from the sky. Breathing and temperament, enchanting. Then, Tongxianbei changed again. The 4th battlefield, the Dragon King, the enemy 40,000. The scarlet light directly removes the monument. Huangyao is the hinterland of Tongxian Road. The sky is shining, it's incredible. Ha ha ha, 40,000, Tianlong Wang Nyobi. What the demon, what 3, in front of the Tianlong King is a slag. My dragon is born, who is fighting? The person who spoke, standing next to the Dragon King, is also a member of the dragon. The whole body is full of violent cruelty, fierce. And behind him, thousands of dragons are the same. The power of the whole body is violent and the breath can be crushed. At this moment, even Chu Shanhai, the magic sense Xian and other people are changing their faces. Dragon King, how did you get into Tongxian Road? Chushanhai asked coldly. This question, everyone's eyes are in the dragon. Since ancient times, there has never been a precedent for dragons to enter Tongxian Road. Because this is the 3 road rules jointly developed. The dragons are too strong, and they cannot let the dragons enter the Tongxian Road. Numerous times, this intersection of Tongxian Road, divided into 3, is only in the hands of the 3. It has never left a chance for the dragons. Even if there is a close relationship between Shan Haizong and the dragon, it is absolutely impossible to hand over this Tongxian Road and share it with the dragon. Therefore, the first question to be questioned is Chushanhai. Chu Shanhai, do you think that others respect you as a legend of mountains and seas? Are you really arrogant? How do I want the dragons to get you to ask questions? If you don't look at the offerings of your mountain Haizong for these years, just rely on what you just said, it is enough to sin. Tianlong Wang said coldly, his eyes glimpsed, and he did not see Chu Shanhai in his eyes. Don't let go. Dragon King, are you really a dragon before the ages? Now the times have changed, not the era when your chaotic dragon was in the first place. The arrogance is accelerating the process of the demise of the dragons. Chu Shanhai screamed. Yes, Tongxian Road is also a group of animals that you can come in. The way to pass the ferry is it you can get? Don't forget how the ancestors of your dragons wanted to break through the road to the road before the ages. Now, do you still want to repeat the same mistakes? The magical Xian also said. At this moment, the Chushan Sea ice was released. Obviously, the dragons are strong enough to make them fear, so at this moment, they are extremely magical and have reached a front. And Longfei is as usual. As if for the dragon to appear, there is no slight feeling. However, Jianma could not bear it at this time. Originally, he had the blood of the dragon. After getting the power of Longfei, it is even more leaping, and the blood is back to the ancestors. Become a dragon and build a horse. At this moment, I saw that the dragons were targeted, and the heart was naturally unhappy. A group of pretending to commit crimes, just because you are also targeting the dragons? My master will be able to destroy you all. With a roar, Jianma couldn't help but say. But what surprised him was, in a word, the dragons simply don't buy it. Who is this? A district demon, also want to hold the thigh of our dragon? No, there is still a little bit of my family's blood. But that's it, the area is just a hybrid. Suddenly, a sneer of trepidation appeared. They simply don't put the horse in their eyes. Jianma's eyes suddenly disappeared, and a sense of compassion suddenly came to mind. Countless times, he once imagined that if he activated his blood, he would return to the dragon with no glory. Especially after the blood of the dragonfly, I imagined that one day, I could be recognized by the dragons in the form of a king. After all, only he knows the power of Longfei's blood. However, I did not expect it at all. It will be the result of today. The dragons not only did not recognize, but instead looked disdainful and disgusted. Fart, the blood of Laozi is not something you can match? Businessly, we all have to give an ancestor to our father. A group of small scorpions dare to be rude to Laozi? In an instant, the horse is angry. The anger broke out instantly. The face of the dragon has become extremely embarrassing at this time. No one has ever dared to be so crazy in front of them. Even the three major people, they are not in the eyes, and now they are despised by a horse that only shows a little dragon blood. Directly let them not tolerate. Looking for death. It's a big joke, and the three people don't dare to ruin my dragon. I don't want to give you a chance to be awkward. I really don't know how to live and die. If this is the case, then give you a death sin. Tianlong Wang said coldly. A look of pride. Eyes are as high as above. At this time, the people of Shan Haizong and the dark Xian Mazong also began to laugh. In their view, whether it is Longfei or the dragon, they are all enemies. The enemy is for tat, they naturally enjoy it. Hey, self-righteous things, want to smash the past, I can't think of being disgusted. It's a shame, just like his master, it's a waste. In front of my legendary disciples, I'm afraid to put it. It's also a big slogan, and we're killing us, shameless things. The disciples of Shan Haizong spoke ironically. The dark, mysterious people are also indifferent. Indifference also took a bit of killing wild vision, and the eyes were cold. But also at this time, Longfei is a smile. In one step, Longfei came straight out. He does not know what the dragon is. He knew nothing before the dragon flew. Just a bottom-level repairer. When he appeared as a dragon, he was only here. In the secret room, Longfei asked him to let him enter the road to Tongxian Road in his own capacity. It is to tell him a belief. That is, his brother, no one can insult. Therefore, at this moment, Longfei moved. The corner of the mouth outlines a sneer and looks at the Dragon King. You are very good? When you swept a battlefield, did you feel invincible? Who gives your confidence? Come and condemn my brother? Chapter 45:14. Chapter 45:14 Dragon's word is a word. His eyes are fabulous. The power of the road and the sea is flooding out, and it is directly volleyed in one step. Tianlong Wang's face was condensed, and it seemed to feel the breath of Longfei, and his mood changed slightly. But in a flash, I recovered the cold color and said silently, "What about that? This seat is a dragon king. He is just a kind of dragon with the blood of my dragon. Don't just convict him. It is his honor to let him die." Tianlong Wang said that his face is still full of disdain. "Yes? That Laozi will let you know today. You dragons, in front of Laozi, are more than a finger of Laozi." Long Fei said coldly, "Between the steps, the palm of your hand slammed down. Rumble. The power of the mountains and seas broke out from the palm of one hand. The power of killing and killing the town broke out. Hey! A dragon that had just insulted Jianma was directly smashed by Long Fei. The dragon's horn at the top of the head was flattened by a dragon's palm, and the entire faucet was directly cracked. The pieces of dragon's blood were like bare red, and they fell to the sky. Roar! Roar! Suddenly, the dragons rioted. They did not think that Long Fei was so violent, and said that the shot was shot without any scruples. "Looking for death, a Terran ants, dare to shoot my dragon. Today, even if you 3 shots together, you can't save you." Tianlong Wang was furious, and in the midst of it, the incarnation of the dragon jumped, and it was necessary to start. At this time, Tongxianbei will change again. Brush it. A series of 3 brilliants flashed past. The 7th battlefield. Zhan Tai Ling Xiu, Xiao Long kills the demon 1007. The 8th battlefield. The demon Blood Demon King, destroy 320,000. The 9th battlefield. Anonymous, destroying 3,000. At the same time, the entire void is also a shock. A figure is also descending from the sky. The people on the water side, as well as the Yaozu, came down almost at the same time. But there is no such thing as the anonymous name of the 9th battlefield. It's true that at this moment, all the sights of the people are fixed on the battle between Long Fei and the dragon. No one cares about the changes on the monument, because at this moment, Long Fei has already been shot again. The left palm is killing the town. The fate of the right hand is dead. 9 kinds of mountain and sea road laws were directly incorporated into the palm of the hand by dragon flying. Booming. Every palm wave will inspire endless power. Under the command of Long Fei, the dragons were forced to fight. Hey! The figure of a dragon is flying by Long Fei. Nothing unexpected. It is the Dragon King. At this moment, his face has become scornful from the previous ones. Not only him, Shan Haizong Chu Shanhai, the dark mysterious demons, and the Zhan Tai Ling Xiu on the water side, his eyes are changing. The pupils were tightened and they were frozen in the battle of Long Fei. As for the construction of the horse, it is already too early to wait for the shot. The words Long Fei directly made him feel move. Even if you are the whole dragon, it is a finger than the old brother. A few words directly make the heart of Jianma, the tide of the heart. Roar! With a roar, Jianma began to transform directly. Hey! Above the head, Jianma gave birth to a double horn. Hey! Hey! It is also a series of crisp sounds, just like the shackles. The original Thunder Qingguang disappeared from the Jianma body. Instead, it was a piece of raised scales, sparkling with a thunderous luster. More than that, the body of Jianma began to change at this time. From the original normal size between the jumps into a body. It is bigger than the people of the dragons in front of you. And then, on the top of Tongxian Road, the illusory Joey also began to thunder, and the wind and the clouds swept the world. This moment was shock. Especially the dragons, looking at the real incarnation of the horse at this time, the eyes are full of awe. Yes, it is awe. Before, they also disdain for the construction of horses. It is an honor to believe that Jianma can have a bloodline of dragons. But now, Longma has changed. They are all dumbfounded. Because the atmosphere of Longma at this time makes them humble. It is like seeing a king. Just the dragon's breath. You can make them violent. This is impossible. How can you have the blood of the ancestral level? No, we are wrong, my ancestors spared. My ancestors are spared. In an instant, countless dragons are asking for mercy. A strip, squatting in the void, is extremely humble. It was the Dragon King, and the color of his face disappeared at this time, and he was silenced above the void. And dragons also stopped the attack at this time. This scene has made San Haizong and other 3 people disappointed. But at the same time it was shocking. Especially in Chushanhai, watching the incarnation of the dragon and the horse, there is a strong desire in the eyes. It seems that I want to take it for myself. Then, looking at the Longfei, the killing is even more violent. Jianma is so tyrannical, still following the Longfei. This also shows that Longfei itself is very powerful. Therefore, in the heart of Chu Shanhai, it is even more taboo for Longfei. At this time, after the incarnation of the dragon and the establishment of the horse, Jian Ma's body was full of thunder, and the movement was like a thunder, and the violent. Master! Jian Ma shouted at Longfei. Longan roared, killing the sky. But this killing is aimed at the dragon. Then, Jian Ma stepped out and stepped on the heavens and earth, and went straight to the dragons. Step on the step. And as the horse is approaching step by step, the entire dragon is like a disaster. Puff puff. Hey! A dragon is like a falling frame, and one after another falls from above the void. I am guilty? That lousy will take your dragon's blood today. Jianma's voice is low, like a beggar, and as his voice fell, the entire dragon was directly transformed into a place of destruction. A head dragon began to smash. The dragon's scale disappeared and the 5 claws receded. In addition to keeping the dragon body, there are no more features of the dragon. Moreover, this is not one. It is a dozen dragons at a time. In the distance, dragons' eyes are faint, looking at the build-up of the horse, and the anger in the heart is also eliminated. But at the same time, I was even more surprised by the changes in Jianma. In my heart, Longfei also began to look forward to faint. In the distance, among the dragons of the dragons are smashing, watching a dragon directly under the words of Jianma, directly deprived of the identity of the dragon. The combat power is all, life and death are unknown. The whole body breathed and whispered, "Suppress the anger in your heart. Why, you still don't accept it. Although you are tyrannical, the blood may not be noble. To me, you are the anti-grandfather. Do you dare to shoot?" Jianma said coldly, and he was forgotten. Directly ridicule the other party's ridicule, retorted with an arrogant attitude. Tianlong Wang is gloomy, but can only bear it. Because, as Jianma said, he did not dare to shoot. With the silence of the Tianlong king, the atmosphere of the entire Tongxian road has become strange. The 5 parties are each one. However, the Yaozu and the dragons are close together, and it seems that they have reached an alliance in general and united together. Only Longfei, only him and Jianma. Chapter 45:15. Chapter 45:15. The incomparably heavy feeling is suppressed in the void, and it seems that there may be battles between the parties at any time. Especially the magic sense, the eyes are constantly turning around in a few people, full of haze. But at this time, an exclamation broke the silence. "Look, see the monument!" Among the waterside, one of the 96 sons suddenly exclaimed. Instantly attracts everyone's attention to the past. Boom! I saw it, a loud explosion, the entire Tongxian monument directly cracked, turn into a stream of light straight into the 9. Booming. Above the 9 miles, the light that was also transformed by the Tongxian monument directly pierced a hollow. In this hollow, a continent is looming, as if to fall from it. Everyone was shocked. The eyes of dragons are also a condensate, the body and mind are tight, the rhyme flows through the body, and everything is ready for battle. At this time, above Jiui, a bridge was directly dropped. The bridge is vertical and down, like a ladder. And this ladder, unbiased, directly fell in front of everyone. Rumble. At this time, on top of the 9, there was a gloomy voice. The second battlefield of Tongxian Road is open. Tongxian Bridge, into the second battlefield. The second battlefield can pass 30,000 places. As with the order, it is issued directly. But the 3 people, the people who carry the dragons, have no surprises. It seems that this sound is no stranger. Obviously, it is not the first time. But Longfei and Jianma's, but it has become a bit of confusion. Master, what's going on? What about the white deer kid? And the blind man? And who didn't they come out? Could it be that Jianma's mood was tight and he said nervously? Dragon's face changed. The fission of the immortal monument means that the war on several battlefields has ended. The opening of the second battlefield also shows that from the 3rd to the 9th battlefield, the number of people who have reached the number has been eliminated. In other words, the one that came out is now out. However, looking at the people in the place, there is no way to find the figure of Longfei and the white deer. For a time, Longfei was anxious and his mind kept guessing. Impossible. Even I can survive in the battlefield. He will not have something. He can make me have a peek in the battle, and his means must be more against the sky. The world will not be able to leave his presence. There are also white deer and the woman, who are extremely mysterious in his mouth. How could they not be there? Longfei is in a state of confusion and confusion. But now there is no room for him to guess more. The entire bridge of Tongxian directly spreads to the feet. At the same time, that voice reappeared. In the second battlefield, the most killed people will get the supreme artifact. Having one unqualified qualification. Now, the second battlefield is open. After that, the sound disappeared. At this moment, the entire Tongxian bridge shines brightly and becomes extremely wide. In a flash, it spreads into thousands of bridges and directly leads to everyone's feet. Go! The magical sensation screamed, taking the lead as usual, stepping into the Tongxian bridge in one step. The next moment, the bridge is rapidly shortened, that is, the people present, repaired as unmatched in the world. It is difficult to capture the trajectory. It seems that if you step on the bridge, you will have surpassed the limits of mortals and cannot figure out the general. After that, Chu Shanhai, Zhan Tai Ling Xiu, and Tian Long Wang and Blood Demon King, etc., also entered the Tongxian bridge one by one. In the twinkling of an eye, there is only Longfei and Jianma in the hinterland of Tongxian Road. Dragon's eyes are gloomy. Longfei and the white deer did not appear, which made him very annoyed. Master, what should we do? Let's continue, etc., or go in. Jianma said. Go. I believe in them, there will never be anything. Even if we can be safe, I believe that no one can stop them on this road. Longfei firmly said. Very confident. Yes, the little white deer is a mysterious kid, and there is a big scorpion. It is also extremely powerful, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with it. Jianma said. And Longfei is no longer hesitant at the moment. In one step, it also directly crossed the Tongxian bridge. Jianma followed closely and immediately disappeared. Rumble. At the moment when the two figures disappeared, the entire area collapsed instantly, the void collapsed, and everything did not exist. Just a moment of effort, it directly becomes nothingness. At this time, Longfei, who was in the 9th battlefield, was also dragged for a moment. Because of this moment, the entire 9th battlefield also began to burst between the crashes. Is this special want to bury Laozi alive? Longfei's face changed. Directly running the body of creation, struggling in the endless storm. Directly smash the entire layer of the condensed emptiness on the top of the head. Hey! Longfei punched out and accelerated the cracking of the entire space. However, under the fist of Longfei, there was another area on the void. That's it. Longfei's eyes condensed, and the body passed through in a flash. Just for a moment, Longfei is a figure that directly penetrates the hurdles of this area and steps into it. However, the figure is not stable, and Long Fei is directly wrong. I am going. How do you tease me? Long Fei was shocked. Although it has not lost color, but my heart is also beating. Above this area there are endless undead. It is said that the undead is not right. To be exact, it should be a bone. White bones become a spirit. At the level of Long Fei, let alone seeing the bones, even if you see the bones, you will not feel shocked. After all, Journey to the West is familiar to Long Fei. If there is a punch. But in front of me, it is 1,000 bones. Keel bone there are countless, and even have been unable to tell what the bones are. What makes Long Fei feel shocked is that these bones are still patchwork. For example, the bones of a rhinoceros are the wings of a bird, and the skull of the human race. The scene is extremely awkward. At this time, these bones seem to have discovered the existence of Long Fei. At the same time, he raised his head. Someone has stepped into this battlefield. Giggle, swallow him. He is mine. After swallowing him, I can enter the Tongxian ranch. The general figure of a molar is spoken from these white bones, and the sound is like the friction of the pig iron, making people feel cold. Moreover, just as the sound broke out, these bones no longer paused. Wan Jun Chifa attacked toward Long Fei. Long Fei's eyes glanced at these bones. A good deep obsession has turned into a white bone, and it has become a species that is not like it. It is still thinking about entering the Tongxian ranch. Sad. In this case, lousy today give you relief. Chapter 45:16. Chapter 45:16 Endless White Bones, Mercedes-Benz World. The whole scene is thrilling. Rao is a battle between countless life and death, and he can't help but see it. It is not how terrible this power is, but this picture. Too beautiful, I can't imagine it. Tens of thousands of white bones swept across. It's coming. It seems that I want to drown the dragon. However, it has not yet reached half. All the white bones collided together and instantly collapsed. Directly fragmented. In particular, their body is a combination of pieces, no stability. It is simply relying on an obsession to save the instinct of life. Long Fei looked at the white-skinned army that collapsed in front of him. The heart is helpless. Originally, I thought that these big bones directly brought a wave of experience to themselves, and they were able to charge a wave of tasks. But I did not expect that, before I started, I would have been defeated. Disappointed. Very disappointing. But at this time, the group has been broken and mixed into a group of white bones. The incomprehensible indulgence of the road broke out again. Mine. Swallow him, kill him. Enter the Tongxian ranch. Fusion, swallow him. Countless obsessions have come together again. There is a cloud over the void. So strong obsession? Is it possible to reorganize indefinitely? Long Fei felt a glimpse. Feeling the thoughts that filled the void, the eyes flashed. Boom. When I was thinking about it in the heart of Long Fei, under the entire void, countless white bones began to gather. Hey! Countless white bones overlap, and countless obscenities are mixed together. In the end, tens of thousands of white bones disappeared. But there have been nearly 100 super bones. Each white bone has a size of nearly 100 feet. Moreover, it is extremely different and there is no way to see the appearance of life. Numerous white bones have turned into a huge hoe, and the endless green light in the eyes is incomparable. However, this change is to make Long Fei's heart loose. Although the army of the disappeared, the nearly 100 super white bones formed in front of the eyes also greatly increased the interest of Long Fei. System, view properties. Long Fei's heart moved. Name, mutant bone will. Level, to the peak of people. Description, the bones become a spirit, the 1,000 bones are inexhaustible, and the fusion is one. Reminder, the obsession is not dead, the bones are not dead. Looking at the system prompts, Long Fei's eyes became hot. Before that, the thousands of bones and the army would not let Long Fei feel no desire at all, and at most it should be harvested as a wave of experience. But now, after recombination, there is an aura that automatically catches the system. What does this mean? Means white bones or permission to become boss. Mom, can't you regroup? That lousy will make you wireless enough. Maybe I will end up with a boss. Long Fei's heart gave birth to a look. Immediately, Long Fei no longer hesitated. The body of the creation was shocked and punched out. Bang! Rumble! Rumble! Under the punch, one of the eyes just finished reorganizing, and the variegated bones containing countless human bones were broken. There is no suspense. Punch a second. With Long Fei's current cultivation, and the power of the creation of the flesh, it can be safe and sound under the fist of Long Fei, and it does not exist. Unless the other party has the same level of physical strength. Otherwise, I can't hold it. As for the white bone in front of you, it is no longer the case. And Long Fei, as always, punched out with a punch and a punch. These bones of the bones collapsed one after another. Even some of them are still in the process of reorganization, and they are turned over by Long Fei. Booming. In the same way, just a few seconds, between the flying shadows of the dragon and the fist, hundreds of variant white bones were directly shattered into slag, and the broken white bones were also directly spilled. Endless smashing into a piece like the bones of the sea. However, Long Fei did not shoot again. Instead, stop and wait. He is waiting for the reorganization of the bones. And everything is as Long Fei thinks. Just like the mountains of the mountains, they began to gather together again and again. Moreover, unlike before, this time the outburst and killing of the outbreak is even more intense. It seems that the fusion is not just a bone, but also a remnant. Kill, enter the Tongxian ranch. All power is given to me, I am going to kill him. Fusion, swallow, swallow, swallow. An incomparable remnant of the reenactment between the heavens and the earth is filled with endless suffocation, heavy and dark, and people feel congested. But for Long Fei, it is still very indifferent. Instead, there is a craving in the eyes. Integration, it is necessary to see how strong you can be. Long Fei whispered himself, looking at the reorganized white bones in front of him, and secretly expected. At the same time, in another area of Tongxian Road, that is above the second battlefield, the war has broken out. Unlike Long Fei, this area is divided into 6. Among the 6 small areas, it is a relatively independent closed space. Dragon and Jianma, the two alone in a region, look cautious. Without it, because there is an endless monk in front of you. Yes, it is a monk. To be exact, it is the afterimage of the monk. Just like in countless years, it has already been left here. Behave in awe. It seems that there is no soul already, and the machinery is on the ground. Long Fei looked at the ghosts of the lonely soul in front of him, and his heart was lost. Very sad. Between the fists and the clenched hands, a kind of thick is not willing to breed in my heart. Master, this should be a way of eliminating this second battlefield. And these people should be the ones who once entered Tongxian Road and entered the second battlefield, and were finally obliterated. I don't think that this way of eliminating the Xianxian Road is so strict, even if someone finally came to the end, fearing that the power of the mainland of Tongxian County was also shuffled, the master lost. Jianma said. The eyes are very dignified, and Long Fei seems to have few senses for these. It's just that there is a sigh of relief in the scorpion. After all, he himself is only a common monk of Shan Haizong. If it wasn't for the avatar of Long Fei in the past, and now with the help of Long Fei, there is a chance to enter Tongxian Road, fearing that it will last a lifetime. These people, in front of him, are ancestors relative to him. Because of the unwillingness in my heart, I want to pass the ferry. In the end, it fell into a lonely soul, unable to return to heaven. With this in mind, Long Fei has a slight meal and hands are used as, those thoughts, I will carry it. At the end of Tongxian Road, I will come and see for you. Long Fei said faintly, and then his eyes condensed, faintly spit out a word. Kill! As for the other battlefields, it is similar to this place. However, others, but not so many feelings, completely indifferent to the existence of these people, directly launched a fight. The picture turns again and returns to Long Fei. At this point, Long Fei looked at the 10 giant white bones that appeared again in front of him. Boss! Chapter 45:18. Chapter 45:18. Hey, congratulations to the player dragon flying, killing the bones and gaining experience of 300 billion. The system sounds down, there is no source value, and there is no violent value. Not much for this, Long Fei did not care. Because these bones will not be human at all. This point, he would have given him in his heart. Giulia, this is the person who has long since died and has not known how many years. Not giving the source value is also expected. Although somewhat disappointing, it is acceptable. After all, these so-called immortal bones, bearing the boss's name, but even the power of the mobs, directly returning the experience of the next 3 billion, for Long Fei, it is simply to send benefits. For the door to send the courier, can you ask for more? However, what Long Fei didn't know was that under the endless bones, the cockroaches were turning into bone powder in a very strange way, and then merged together. However, under the sea, the whole body was submerged, and there was no way to see it. At this time, Long Fei's heart is feeling the joy brought by the surge in experience. 300 billion. Coupled with the previous 360 million, the distance is upgraded, leaving only 140 billion. On this Tongxian Road, Long Fei has a 67,000 person bonus. In other words, on this road, the upgrade of Long Fei is already a matter of nailing. Thinking of this, the heart of Long Fei's heart is overflowing. The appearance of Chushanhai flashed through my mind, and a sneer appeared in the corner of my mouth. I don't know how they are building horses and little white deer. There is that woman. I want to come by virtue of their means, and I want to pass this screening on Tongxian Road, which is easy. Long Fei speaks to himself. Eyes began to glance in this space. Just before coming here, he was besieged by endless white bones. Although it was only a farce, but Long Fei was also toad, and did not explore this time and space. This time, Long Fei began to feel incredible. This piece of heaven and earth, the sky does not know tens of thousands of miles. At first glance, I can't see it. Of course, this is not the point. The point is that tens of thousands of miles of corpse bones, countless white bones, gathered in the mountains, gathered into the bones of the sea, is the most shocking to the heart of Long Fei. Above the void, condescending, all are white bones. People, beasts, and the bones of all kinds of races that have never been heard are scattered throughout the space. Everything is white. Moreover, among these bones, there is no shortage of strong people. Even though there are only white bones left, there is still a compelling pressure on it. Terror. How many people have died on this battlefield? I am afraid that hundreds of millions of people will not stop. Is this Tongxian Road once a world? Long Fei thought of it. The number of such bones is too amazing. Unless it is a world, there are not so many at all. However, although Long Fei is shocking, there is not much confusion. He has seen too much hurricane. It is too common to destroy a world. It is in the Tianwu continent that the Emperor Xian is trying to kill himself, but he is also moving to destroy a plane. In the world of the strong, weakness is the original sin. The project has been ruined, and for the sake of its own layout, many people die, but in their eyes it is just a number. Compared with Long Fei, what I want to know is that this is the endless sea of bones, and where is the way out? He now understands that he has left everyone. Or, under the system arrangement, he is just a person. Because, compared to others, he is a player. And it is the only one. Therefore, the first task is to get out of this endless sea of bones. Otherwise, it goes without saying that the road will be turned over, and the system task will be expelled from Tongxian Road. Thinking of this, Long Fei has a tight heart. But at this time, on the bones of the sea, a strange noise suddenly appeared. Bang! As if there is any existence, it is necessary to break away from the bones of the sea and emerge from the bones. Long Fei's eyes were also attracted to the moment. Oh la la la! Above the endless bones, all the white bones make a sound at this moment. Like a pilgrimage, it began to blast. Just a few breaths of time, spread directly layer by layer. Leave the middle, a huge hollow. Rumble. The constant roar of sound broke out from it. The dragon and the dragon slammed together, and the eternal life flashed into the endless black hole. I want to penetrate this endless black hole and see what it is. However, the next moment, Long Fei is stunned. Nothing can be seen. There is no such thing as the sound of white bone friction, the sound of roaring, and the indescribable sound of a kind. Killing sound, collision sound, chain sound. It is Long Fei. In this it is also violently tortured by this kind of voice. Yes, it is the sound. There is no picture, but it is passed directly through the soul of eternal life. Meng, Long Fei directly retracted his sight. I am afraid that if I continue to read it, my heart will be damaged. Call. What is it? Is it unclear on the mainland of this county? At the beginning, before entering the Star Sea, it was once again known by Qiao Qiao and Wang Yunjiang Chuanqiu that the Xinghai was unknown. Moreover, on the top of the Star Sea, the first moment that was dropped into this place, Long Fei did feel something and saw a white figure. But the owner of the figure, Long Fei, can't remember it and can't think of it. Originally, Long Fei had long forgotten this. But now, the perception of eternal life under this endless black hole is to give Long Fei a sense of sorrow. This feeling is unknown. As soon as I read this, Long Fei's face became extremely solemn. However, Long Fei believes that the appearance of this black hole is definitely not accidental. Is it because I killed this eternal bone, and then led to the real boss? Long Fei thought. But I am not sure. But at this time, the entire space began to shake sharply. Hey! The endless white bones are like sea water. They start to pour and go straight into the black hole in front of them. Booming. Like a torrent, it is very turbulent. Long Fei's heart could not help but feel a sense of tension. After all, this change is too ridiculous and simply cannot be guessed. It's awkward, oh. With the influx of this bone in the boundless black hole, the abnormal sound reappeared. And it is extremely real, as if it is in front of you. Long Fei holds the blade of the king, step by step. Finally, the whole person stood directly on the black hole. And he, in his eyes, finally saw what happened under the black hole. The throne in this corpse. Chapter 45:19. Chapter 45:19. The crystal white bones are shining with cold eyes. The light of the bones rushed to the 9 days of nothingness. In the twinkling of an eye, the whole world was honored, and the repressed expression on the endless bones was removed. But instead, it is a very heavy feeling. Oh la la la. The sound of a chain of interlocking collisions has swept again. From under the black hole that you can't wear, constantly sway and rub. But Long Fei, I saw a different taste. He can perceive that this power is drawn from the emerging white bone throne. It seems that under the throne of the white bones, many heavy chains are washed away. As the throne of the white bone rises and the constant friction collides, the sound of the explosion erupts. Long Fei's eyes stared at the rising throne of the white bone in the black hole. The throne of the white bone? Is there still a heavy chain of cracks? Is there still a super boss that is not a white bone? Long Fei thought of it constantly. I dare not have the slightest scorn. Intuition tells him that this black hole is not simple. In the next moment, Long Fei held his breath and concentrated all his mind, placed in his eyes, watching the constant rise of the white bone throne. This white bone throne is rising slowly, like a turtle crawling. Moreover, without a certain distance, the sound of the chain underneath will erupt, booming. Hey, hey, hey! There are even countless sparks that burst from it. Moreover, it is getting stronger and stronger and more harsh. Long Fei waited silently. For a moment, among the holes, a white skeleton of the business has finally emerged. It is Long Fei. This eye is also shocked. This throne is about 1,000 feet in size. It's really a bone. There are even lines on it, and the ghost face is branded in a pattern all over the throne. Hey! Hey! A burst of ghosts, screaming and screaming, appeared above the throne. Inspiring. Long Fei said nothing, directly launching the power of eternal life, suppressing the fear above his heart. Really just a throne? No boss? Who is this throne for whom? Under this chain, who is the crackdown? Question number 3. Flooded in the heart of Long Fei. You can continue to wait until the throne of the white bones lifts off, and the endless chains are smashed out from below, and you still don't see any other figure. This is impossible. Long Fei's heart was shocked. The eyes are full of doubts. The throne of the white bone is stronger, and it is only a dead person. As for why, the seat that condenses this white bone is positioned as the throne. It's just what Long Fei thought. But this thought is not a hole in the wind, but the beginning of this endless sea of bones, like the worship of the king, automatically evacuated, delete a black hole. Only this point, defined as the throne, is no problem. But even if it is a throne, it is just a seat. It's also a magical treasure at best. If no one is going to sit, there is no value at all. But now, the entire throne has emerged, but there is nothing else that makes Long Fei unable to believe. With such a big squad, the bones are dissipated, and the throne is vacant. How do you look like bosses, how come? Long Fei was puzzled, his eyes turned, and he looked under the throne, and he had an abyss. A chain of chains hangs down, from the throne of the white bones, into the endless abyss. The sound of a horrible horror is still endless. The noise of the chains, the low humming sounds, and the sorrows of countless souls are low and continuous. Yes, there is no existence. Long Fei moved and moved closer. However, it is not waiting for Long Fei to take the second step. A chain breaks free from the abyss black hole. Brush. Boom. Directly to the dragon. Rub. Long Fei's eyes narrowed and his body suddenly exploded. Yes, this chain seems to have the function of locking with his skills. No matter how his figure changes, this chain is like a shadow, attacking. Mom, give me broken. After a few times, Long Fei's heart also gave birth to anger. Between the backhands, it is a punch. Hey! Long Fei's fist directly touched the chain. Hey! For a moment, the chain broke directly. Cut off 5 sections directly. And Long Fei's hands also felt a numbness at this time. For a moment, Long Fei felt incredible. Unbelievable. You must know that his current creation has reached a peak of strength. It has long surpassed the power of this era. It is Yuan Feng, and there is nothing to help. But now, this punch has only cut off the 5-section chain, and even made him feel the same. At this moment, I can't wait for Long Fei to continue thinking. A low-pitched sneer came from under the abyss. 1. Long Fei felt the shock of the soul, and was shocked by this sudden low-sounding voice. At this moment, the dragon and the twins flashed together, and a red light flashed across the abyss. This made the turbulent sound in the soul disappear. Nima? Sound attack? Long Fei's eyes were a bit thicker. It turns out, under this abyss there is a presence in the cliff. Moreover, it is very powerful. Otherwise, it is absolutely impossible to make yourself feel pressure with a voice. Unexpectedly, after tens of thousands of years, someone actually set foot on this battlefield. Hey, good fat body strength! Swallow you, I should be able to break through this battlefield. At this moment, a voice came from the abyss. With the appearance of this sound, there is a mess of roaring noise. Extremely angry. Just like the sounds of thousands of people are overlapping and deafening. Longfei looked Emile. The pupils shrink and instantly lock under the endless abyss. What is the dog thing that hides the tail, jumps out and I punch you? A heavy sigh. During this period of time, Longfei was surrounded by the strangeness under this throne, and the confusion of the mind was already angered. Now the Lord is vocal, Longfei can bear it? Impossible. Hey, blow me up? Is it by your physical strength? Although it is very powerful and has a transcendent breath. But in front of Ben Wang, it is still not enough to see. It's you, you're kneel on the ground, offering a bleeding soul, I can give you eternal life, become a general of the bones, and I will not die. The sound came again, a proud batch. And here, everything is already clear. Longfei's eyes are bright. Sure enough, it is a boss. Longfei's heart suddenly came to realize. When the voice says the words of immortality, it has already indicated everything. However, Longfei is even more curious, and the bones before the distinctness have already collapsed the soul, just a remnant. Why under this abyss, there is still a clear sense of the future. Interesting. However, you still can't avoid your destiny. In front of Lao Tzu, the boss has to die. Chapter 45:20. Chapter 45:20. As a professional player, Longfei has only one operating concept. Burst. The stronger boss, the more excited Longfei is. Let Longfei bow to the boss? Impossible. Obviously, this boss is very strong. Strong enough to let Longfei feel the pressure. However, there is pressure to be motivated. The stronger the boss, the more likely it is to explode. Ha ha ha, ridiculous. I don't know how tall and thick. 3,000 years ago, a group of people peaked, and 3 of them were true. On this battlefield, I was suppressed by my life. Ben has made 2 handrails with their bones. 80,000 years ago, the existence of a true peak wanted to kill me, become the master of the world, and finally be rebelled. Benjun used his bones to make a chair. 100,000 years ago, a surpassing true existence, it seems to be the sword of Shan Haizong, I made a 4-legged leg with his bones. The bluntness of the abyss continues, and one pile is as if it is showing off. In fact, Longfei is moving. I did not expect that the seat in front of me was such a big source. Nima. So many strong bones, made a chair, you are so afraid of wanting to go against the sky. Longfei heart spit. Crazy roar. In his opinion, killing is not the only thing. Even if Longfei kills countless people along the way, but the final kill is finished. After the death, I have to make a fuss about it, but I have never done it before. The boss under the abyss in front of him was so devastated. I made such a seat with the bones of so many people. The degree of cruelty can be imagined. Between the thoughts, the flying killing in Longfei's heart is even more bursting. How? Very angry? Don't worry. Because today your eyes will become the night pearl on this seat. Your flesh and blood will become the decoration on the left and rear of this seat. This gentleman has a feeling that kills you and refines your strength. I will be a god, stepping through this first battlefield and entering the Tongxian ranch. Ha ha ha, by the time, this is the first person to break the road to Tongxian, and the entire mainland of Tongxian will become a thing in my bag. The existence under the abyss is said. Then he started to laugh wildly. Longfei frowned slightly and couldn't help but say it. Hey, I said that you are enough. Even if there is no darkness here, don't you open your mouth and shut up and talk about your dreams? No matter how hard you used to be, today I am here, I want to explode you. As for the Tongxian road you said, rest assured, Laozi will definitely overturn. Longfei said that with the hand in his hand, the blade of the kings was once again in his hands. Crazy Dragon Town! Angrily screamed and waved out. In the face of the boss, it's better to be direct and clean with the help of the other person's eyes. Boom! A knife is restored and the dragon's shadow follows. The arrogant dragon swooped down directly. At this time, under the throne, a chain of chains danced and began to madly shake. Dang dang. Hey. Jump jump jump. Inch inch cracked. This chain is like a joke, colliding with the mad dragon and breaking directly. However, the mad dragon did not set any advantage, but only broke a few chains. The spiritual power of the body directly dissipated, and the dragon's scale was degenerated by the power of the chain. The body becomes nothing. It can be said that a blow is broken. Both lose. Long Fei looked calm and dignified. Boss, it really is a boss. The mad dragon town can kill the heavens, but now it only broke a chain. But the more it is, the more excited I am. Come on, Dragon King 9 days. The dragon sighed and screamed. The eyes flashed, and the long knife in his hand whistled. Boom. For a moment, the 9 dragons followed the knife and were born out of nothing, soaring from the void. The figure of Long Fei also moved at this moment, appearing on top of the giant faucet in the center of Kowloon. A long knife is like a penalty. The king is on the abyss. Cut! An angry drink. Long Fei's voice sank, driving Kowloon, galloping the world, and heading for the white bone throne above the black hole in the abyss. At this time, under the throne, a thick black fog came. A pair of white bones came out of it. Very huge. Grab a neck directly to a dragon. A fierce glimpse. Roar! The dragon roared and danced empty. And in the eyes of Long Fei, the roar is even worse. I did not think that the second knife of the unfavorable king of the king did not break out at this time, but was directly defeated by the boss. Not bad. Jiulong Yutian is now being pinched by the hand of this bone. There is no resistance at all, just struggling for a moment, directly annihilating the void. This scene, let Long Fei's heart cannot accept. You must know that the second knife of the king of the kingdom is that the elders of Shan Haizong cannot bear it. Oh, fear! With your strength, you dare to be arrogant in front of this gentleman. Waste things. Under the abyss, the sound appeared again, and the arrogance was incomparable. The words are full of disdain. Waste Nima, when Laozi will break up your bones, I hope you have this courage. Long Fei screamed. Not much to say. The next moment, Long Fei slashed. Boom! The 8 dragons roared and rushed out. At this time, on the abyss, countless chains also flew out at this time. Long Fei really noticed at this time. This chain is actually a white bone, filled with a sinister atmosphere and a force that corrodes everything. Booming. The dragon is rushing and whistling away. You can enter the abyss without waiting for this white bone throne. A series of white bone chains are interlaced, and the winding of a circle directly blocks the 8 dragons. Sting. Stinging thorns. The body of the dragon was directly corroded, and a white smoke emerged, and the dragon's scales peeled off and the dragon's shape collapsed. Cut! Long Fei's face is unchanged, and he has a heavy knife. Hey! Hey! The power of the 8 dragons fits into the edge of the king's blade, forming a knife at the time of the break, and the heavy shackles are above the white bone chain. Oh la la! A picking white bone chain directly collapses, turning into countless soot, floating in the void. And this smoke is nothing else, it is the ashes. Oh, it seems that you are different from ordinary waste. It's still a bit strong. But this strength is still not enough to see, your strength will always be used up. But the bones of Benjun are inexhaustible and inexhaustible. Follow me, what do you want with me? Under the abyss, the voice slowly spread. Then, a white bone slowly rose from it. Boom! An incomparably strong breath emerged from this white bone and swayed the world. It was Long Fei, and he was forced to retreat a few steps by the scene in front of him. Nothing else, just because of this white bone, the light is too blazing. Ha ha ha, hundreds of thousands of years of indulging, my bones heavenly king, finally have to be born again. The figure of the bones is slowly volley, very arrogant laughter. Chapter 45:21. Chapter 45:21. The figure of Baigu Tianjun slowly emerged, until the disappearance of Jiulong Yutian disappeared, and the figure of Baigu Tianjun finally emerged into the abyss. The white bones of the body are crystal clear, and the strange lines are surrounded by the white bones, just like the vitality. What makes people even more eye-catching is that this white bone army has a huge chain on the back, as if it were a vertebra, and its breath is powerful. And this chain is also the chain above the white bone throne. The myriad chains above the throne of the bone are differentiated from this chain. This kind of style cannot be said to not pull the wind. Let Long Fei's mind directly emerge from the game skin in a game on Earth. Now the shape of this white bones is a kind of fire that escapes a clean board. In the thoughts, Long Fei's mind couldn't help but think of the scene of the Monkey Brothers' journey to the world. I don't know if the system will change, and if there are people who are summoning a group of people on the Earth, they will burst. Long Fei thought of it. Although the Earth is very weak now. But from the system side, the powers that have been summoned before are all explained. The Earth is strong. Moreover, the degree of power has overwhelmed the supremacy of the heavens and the world. However, these thoughts are just a flash. Now, the most important thing is the boss in front. At this time, Long Fei also passed through the system and scanned the white bones automatically. Baigu Tianjun, a creation-grade boss. Attributes: destruction, violent damage, blood volume. Description: hundreds of thousands of white bones are poured, and there is no evil spirit. Never die, never exist in the world. The dragon flies. This description will be very similar to the previous undead bone, but one level higher. However, Long Fei does not believe it. The description of the undead bones is also not dead. In the end, is it still not blown by myself? Thinking of this, there is a glimmer of light in the eyes of Long Fei. What about the super boss, not dead? He does not believe it. What's more, the system is defined as the existence of boss, cannot die. Don't die, but still have a fart. Therefore, Long Fei has only endless passion in his heart, but no fear of half. Not awkward, just. At this time, Bai Bian Tianjun was wearing a shadow, and his white bones shook his arms, directly affecting the chain vibration behind him. Oh la la! Oh la la! Even with the chain on the throne of the white bones, it began to shake. Constantly floating, constantly flashing. Roar! Bai Bian Tianjun roared. A claw caught directly to Long Fei. Creation. Punch. Long Fei responded instantly with a pair of fists. Boom! The power of incomparable violent explosions instantly and bombarded. However, the unexpected results did not come out. There is no unfavorable creation and a punch, which is directly contained in the void by this white bone. If the card is dead, one step cannot be entered. It can be said that this punch is an invalid attack. Directly a huge miss, flashing over the head of the Bone King. A dragon flies. The eyes are wide. How long has it been? His attack means there have been no misses. But now, under the punch, it turned out to be empty. Hey, is this power? If this is your strongest power, then today you can die. This has long said that on this battlefield you are a waste. No one has ever been arrogant in front of me. Baigu Tianjun laughed. The bones are clawed and instantly extend infinitely. Long Fei was shocked. Suddenly I wanted to pull out, but I found that the road that flowed over the bones began to glow infinitely. The light shines as if it were a designated area. Absolute field? Fuck. At this point, how can Long Fei still not know this Baigu Tianjun means to heaven? Directly block the entire piece of void. In order to prevent Long Fei from retreating. It is also the time of this lost. The bones of the white bones directly bombarded the dragon's chest. Hey! Long Fei's footsteps are constantly retreating. Under this power, Long Fei's clothes are also directly corroded. However, although this power is strong, but the creation of Long Fei is not covered, this bone is stronger, and it only leaves a red dot on the chest of Long Fei, and even the skin does not penetrate. Your strength is not so good? Even the layer of skin of Laozi can't be opened, and you can refine the old man? Who gives you confidence? Long Fei chuckled. But my heart is equally astonished. The bones of Baigu Tianjun, although not attacking his skin, but the power of the whole creation is directly oscillated, and the life is weakened at this time. That is to say, if Bai Bon Tianjun continues this power, he will be able to break his defense in a few times. But now Long Fei must fight. Because this battlefield is a system task. It is inevitable at all. Either he took the battlefield and exploded the boss, or he left the world. With the power of the Blade of the Kings, it may be able to open. However, from the battlefield of this side, the result may be expelled to Tongxian Road, when his world task cannot be completed. In this scene, Long Fei definitely does not want to see it. Therefore, there is only one way in front of him, that is, a dead war. The second knife of the Blade of the Kings has no effect at all. The absolute power of creation is not the opponent of this bone. Now, unless you can get out of the third knife, or the Hand of the Avenue. The dragonfly center thinks quickly and looks for ways to blow the boss. But no matter which one, you need to upgrade. Now, unless you are experiencing experience Dan, there is no blame for the upgrade. But now there are only 54 experience Dan. Long Fei is trying to keep it in extreme danger. After all, the upgrade is equal to the resurrection of blood. Therefore, despite the current situation, Long Fei still does not want to use it. At this time, the bone claws of Baigu Tianjun reappeared. Can't break? Do you think that you can avoid it if you are physically strong? Impossible. Ben's claws, let alone you, even those who are in the realm of real life, have to drink hate. Kid, let's die. The bones of the bones of the bones are out, affecting the endless chains and directly attacking Long Fei. Hey! A loud noise. In this absolute white bone field, Long Fei has not reacted at all, and directly bears a blow. Hey! Long Fei figure fell. The throat is sweet and Long Fei's eyes are angry. This Nima? Really, boss? System, is it wrong? Is there any reason for this Nima? I am a professional player, want to be abused by boss. Long Fei roared in his heart. This blow has already injured him. Blood has flowed out of the chest. Hey kid, how? Just 2 times you can't hold it and want to shoot on this monarch? Let's accept it. On your way, you can't hide the fate of being the ornament on the throne of this king. Give me death. Bai Bian Tianjun roared and shot again. Chapter 45-22. Chapter 45-22 Rumble. This time, Bai Bian Tianjun also issued a very strong force. A claw swung out, directly on the shoulders of Long Fei. Hey, hide? Hiding again? The younger brother who killed Laozi just killed it very well? Now continue to kill? Baigu Tianjun sneered, squatting above the skull. Inside the hollow eyelids, the light flashed. Terror is incomparable. Moreover, among the glory, it is the release of a series of crushing power, oppressed. In an instant, Long Fei felt a force, and he had to penetrate his physical defense, which was extremely painful. It seems to be directly embedded in the flesh and blood of the bones. Give me a drive. Long Fei's thoughts moved, and the power of creation surged among his arms. Boom! The force suddenly trembled and directly shocked the white bones. But this is the case, Long Fei also feels pain in his arms, and a line of blood slides down the arm. Long Fei's eyes were dignified and he looked at the 5 blood holes. Is it shocked? There are a few things. But it will stop here. White Bone Town Soul Chain, lock me. Baigu Tianjun shouted, and above the back, a chain inadvertently began to turn. Together, the countless chains under the bone began to sway. Hey! The next moment, thousands of chains, shaking the void. Rumble. Hey! Chains collide, intertwined in the void, and smashed directly to Long Fei. Long Fei was forced to endure the pain, and the punch of the punch directly hit the real fire. Hey! Hey! Numerous chains began to break, and they became smashed under the punch of Long Fei. However, just for a moment, Long Fei felt the power block. The speed of each punch is more than doubled. Moreover, even the power is not as good as before. In an instant, Long Fei's eyes were full of stunned, and suddenly turned to Baigu Tianjun. Ha ha ha, do you feel it? Small waist, are you busy with this? Is there nothing to do with you and shoving? I know that your physical strength is strong, even if it is a general realm. The flesh is not comparable to you. But now? The power of Benjuan's bones has penetrated into your veins. Oh, no matter how long, the power in your flesh and blood will be swallowed up and become a white bone. How about, not excited, not expected? Baigu Tianjun arrogantly laughed. And Long Fei, after hearing, his eyes are even more gloomy. At this moment, he is extremely uncomfortable. Especially on the double fist, he actually felt that his fists seemed to be degenerate, not at all controlled by their own will. Moreover, every time a slight change, I can feel my bones being misplaced and shaking. Nima? Is this especially wanting to deprive my bones? Long Fei's heart is in chaos. A messy batch. The brain has been shorted. This situation is still the first time I have seen it. Time passes by, and countless white bone chains are getting closer and closer, hovering over the dragon's limbs, and the whole body is gradually wrapped up. Moreover, the feeling of consuming the flesh and blood and depriving the bones is even more obvious. Hey, the player's life is in high risk, please pay attention. Hey, the player's life is in high risk, please pay attention. Hey, the player's life is in high risk, please pay attention. At this time, the system exploded 3 times. Directly explode high-risk warnings. Ha ha ha, I feel so uncomfortable. Now the power of the king has been imprisoned as long as a moment, the bones penetrate your body. At the time, you will be the 11th white bone warfare under this seat. This has long said that struggling is useless. This first battlefield, this king is the master. Baigu Tianjun took a step in the void, and it seems that everything is in his hands. And the endless white bone chain, at this moment, completely penetrated the body of Long Fei. Is it dead? In an instant, the feeling of tingling directly penetrates the soul of Long Fei. Very clear. But in a blink of an eye, among the eyes of Long Fei's lost eyes, a glimmer of light passed. It is the eternal life. At this time, the eternal life of the light, directly to the erosion of the power of the bones to stop. Even the power of the bones is as difficult as it is at this time. Then, Long Fei opened his eyes and used the eternal life to wash the power of the bones in his body. Okay? Effective? Long Fei's heart is a joy. Forever eternal life, he has always been a kind of power as the power above the soul. I did not expect that there is such a wonderful use. The attack of Baigu Tianjun is also a meal. It seems to be the change of the breath of Long Fei. Within the hustle and bustle, the green glow is constantly shining. It is also very shocking. If he is not a white bone now, I am afraid it is also a look of greed and desire. Hey, the power of eternal life? I don't think you have so much power. Ha ha ha, swallowed you, swallowed you. This battlefield has never been able to stop my existence, even if it is a person who wins the sky, it will be a joke in front of Laozi. Life bones out. Baigu Tianjun shouted. Oh la la. Hey. After a bang, the endless white bone chains are intertwined on the void to form a hilt, infiltrating the incomparable scent. Then, the bones of Bai Bian Tianjun were pulled out directly at this moment. Boom! When the vertebrae come out, between the heavens and the earth, the endless white bones are instantly annihilated. Just like the sword of the Emperor, all beings tremble. I am Chao, new tricks? The devil's bell. Long Fei was shocked. The picture in the movie on the earth flashed through my mind. And at this time, Bai Bian Tianjuan's technique is exactly the same. But this is not the point. The point is that at this time, the vertebrae of Baigu Tianjun directly turned into a white bone sword, which flashed a cold light and burst into an unpredictable horror. Even give Long Fei a feeling. If you are caught between the bones, it is your own physical strength, and you can't hold it. System, is it wrong? How is this special? Is this really a boss? Long Fei's heart is not depressed. I thought it was the welfare, and broke into the boss's nest. I didn't expect the horror of this bones. It is completely pressed and beaten. No, according to the general rules of the game, since it is a boss, there must be weaknesses. It's impossible to be impeccable. But what is it? Long Fei looked at Bai Bian Tianjun holding a long sword, his face stunned, and his mind turned instantly. If it doesn't work, he can only upgrade. At this moment, a touch of change directly came from the system space. In the eyes of Long Fei, the movement was conscious. Hey! A ray of light circling out in an instant. Ding! Chapter 45-23. Chapter 45-23. Hey! Congratulations to the player to trigger the system props and win the hook kiss. Hey! With the kiss of winning the hook, the player can summon the ancestor of the Earth zombie, win the hook. Hey! Is the player calling? The sound of the system appears one after another. Call! In the eyes of Long Fei, the color of surprise blooms. Do not hesitate. Now that the boss is about to break out, there is no reason to call it at this time. Regardless of whether it is useful or not, Long Fei directly chooses when the system sound falls. Hey! Congratulations to the player to summon success. Hey! Because the summoning object is too powerful, the world bridge architecture takes 30 seconds, please wait for the player. The system voice said. I Nima. Long Fei couldn't help but give birth to an impulsive mother. 30 seconds, it is just that he can kill his life. Mom, fight, I don't believe it, I can't resist it for 30 seconds. Long Fei's heart is stunned, and the eternal life of the twins is shocked. The eternal life, give me a drive. The dragon's spirit is turbulent, and the power of eternal life of refining is condensed in the eyes. Boom! In an instant, the eternal life of the dawn in the eyes of Long Fei burst into the extreme. Suddenly, the above the body, all boasted. Immediately, the blade of the king's once again controlled in the hands. In any case, he has to wait for 30 seconds. I want to be desperate. Do you have this qualification? Dang magic sword, hey! The bones are open and a sword falls. Long Fei held the knife in both hands, and the Kowloon Royal Rotary swung it and cut it straight out. Boom! Kowloon roars. Infinite. This is a battle of life and death. 30 seconds, if Long Fei can kneel down, Long Fei believes that the existence of the system call can be reversed in minute. But if he is 30 seconds, he can't resist it. There is only one result. Hey! The two forces collided and the roar exploded. Rumble! The body of Kowloon was instantly cut off by a sword, destroying the void. And the figure of Long Fei, under this attack, directly flew out. Hey! The dragon-flying figure falls in the bones of the sea, and there are countless white bones climbing up in an instant, wanting to fly the dragon to the pit. Get out! Long Fei screamed and slashed out, directly blasting the white bones, then leaping and smashing again. Hey! The result is the same. The power of Baigu Tianjun seems to be impeccable and powerful. Moreover, the bone sword in the hand is also a fierce one, as if it contains the strength of hundreds of millions of people, and the fierce pressure will blow the blade of the king. Puff! Long Fei's body fell again, and a blood spit out. The look has also become a bit more. Hey, do you dare to resist this power? Don't you know the identity of this monarch? Under the endless sea of bones, the powers of the billions of strong people are lagging behind, and they are absorbed by the king. Do you want to resist? Stop dreaming. Bai Bing Tianjun is arrogant and infinite. Under the two swords, Long Fei's fight was not enough, but it made him feel proud. Long Fei, once again surrounded by white bones in the bones of the sea. However, Long Fei is no longer struggling. Let the forest bones fill your body. Come on, aren't you very hard? Stand up and fight hard. Your two knives have made Ben feel some pain and continue to come. It's been itchy for millions of years, a bone. By Bien Tianjun said. Endless ridicule. If he is not a white bone, I am afraid that my face is now full of teasing look. This can be seen from the faint green light that is constantly beating. Long Fei is silent, as if to give up directly to resist. But in my heart I am silent. Install, a cockroach still dares to be stunned. In the last 10 seconds, I will not ruin you, and I will not call Long Fei. Long Fei thought of it. On the surface, I don't care, even if these bones bite my body, I don't care. Anyway, with these bones, even his fur can't be hurt. What really cares is the white bones. However, fortunately, at this time, Baigu Tianjun has fallen into his own embarrassment and is unable to extricate himself. Unlimited loading. It seems that he has already won the prize, and he will not put Long Fei in his eyes. It is like saying that Long Fei is already the meat to the mouth. At this time, on the system, time has entered the last 5 seconds. 5, 4, 1. Long Fei counts down. Until the number is up to 1. Long Fei's eyes suddenly opened. Roll! With a sigh of anger, Long Fei's strength was swaying, and the white bones that were infinitely attached to his body fell directly. A bunch of chop, dare to contaminate Laozi's flesh and blood? Long Fei's fist was shocked and a punch hit. Hey! Rumble! The bones of the sea oscillate, and the infinite white bones are directly turned into fly ash. Baigu Tianjun has a glimpse of nowhere. Long Fei even dared to shoot, but dare to resist? Hey, dare to shoot? Give me death! The bones of the bones suddenly slammed between the swords and slammed into the dragon. Can Long Fei now this moment do not hide at all? Above the corner of the mouth there is still a sneer. Hey, the channel is built, will the player call? The system sound appears. Call. Long Fei did not hesitate and said directly. The voice fell and it rang. Under the entire abyss, a fierce and incomparable breath instantly swept into the sky. Boom! Hey! Roar! Ah! Endless morning appeared. For a time, countless white bones, countless remnants, were directly blasted. The bones are gray and the sky is soaking. By Bing Tianjun is also a glimpse, suddenly turned around and looked into the endless abyss. The green fire in the eyes also became focused. It seems that I feel the horror. Long Fei's eyes are also fixed under this abyss. Very much looking forward to. Well, this is also the legendary figure in the myths and legends of the earth. Who is it, call me? A voice appeared. Low, depressed. It seems to contain infinite resentment, and it is necessary to fight the battlefield. It's me. Long Fei said, his expression was light. Even if it is arrogant, Long Fei also believes that since the system can be summoned, it can be managed. At most, there is no attribution. It is like the drought and flood of the year. When thinking about droughts and floods, Long Fei also thought of the son-in-law on the earth and winning a level. Thinking about if they were to be brought together, who else in the days is worth fearing? At this time, under the abyss, the endless darkness of the surging, a figure is gradually rising. Extremely lonely. As if this is disrespectful to the world, do not respect the Buddha. Only respect yourself. A singularity that is unique to me is a variable in my body. Baigu Tianjun is also a glimpse, and the steps do not automatically retreat a few steps. Who are you? Bai Bingtianjun asked. Winning the eye-catching eyes, a look of disgusted look at the white bones, and then look at Long Fei. Call me, is this bone? Win the hook and say softly. Extremely disdainful. Of course, but the generals who win the hook are careful. This bone is not simple. Long Fei said. I watched the win and didn't feel any maliciousness. Not simple? I think too much. This is a younger brother. It's not enough to give me a shoe in the sea of gloom. Chapter 45-24. Chapter 45-24. Win the hook and disdain. I don't even bother to look at it. Especially the sentence is even more violent. It is a younger brother. What is a younger brother? That is, he can only follow the younger brother's Lu. It looks like awesome, actually nothing. Dragon flew, I don't know what to say. At this moment, Long Fei felt that he was weak and pitiful. I face the bones of the white bones, only the abused part, but when I win the hook, it is extremely disdainful, and there is disdain in the word. Between the thoughts, Long Fei was in turmoil. No, Laozi's current cultivation can sweep across the world, and no king of the world is in the eye. Is there such a big gap with the earth? Long Fei is not in the heart. I don't understand very much. At this time, it seems that I also see what Long Fei thinks. You don't have to worry about it. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. After all, you are still too young. Winning the hook slowly, not too slow to say. It is like a spoon. There is no maliciousness to Long Fei, just in the words, the wind of the strong. A dragon flies. I Nima. Too young. In the heart of Long Fei, there was a moment of rushing through the mud and horses. I am afraid that this is what he heard, the lowest adjustment. None of them. Evaluation of Baigu Tianjun is still a younger brother, then what about yourself? Too young, compared to him, isn't it even a younger brother? Thinking of this, Long Fei's heart is not good enough. However, it is powerless to refute. Let's talk nonsense, let me kill this bone first. Long Fei said. For the win in front of the eyes, Long Fei has no temper in his heart. I haven't shot yet, and I'm going to install it first. This kind of pie makes Long Fei speechless. At this time, the win hook is also a smile. It is just a bunch of bones, nothing to care about. In my time, this kind of existence can't go to the table. Winning a faint saying. Then I turned my eyes and looked at the white bones. Come on my seat. Win the faint opening, like the Supreme King, control all the dark creatures. The white bones are a glimpse of the sky, and the green light in the eyes keeps flashing. Among them, one of the emotions revealed is called fear. Incomparable fear. What the are you? Baigu Tianjun trembled openly, and his body's white bones were dull and dull. It seemed that in the face of winning the hook, there was no courage to show off. Winning the gaze and turning around, looking at the shivering white bones in front of him, the corner of the mouth pick. You dare to ask the east in front of the seat? This seat lets you climb over, you didn't hear it? Win the hook and say. There is no truth in the violent. What makes Long Fei even more eye-popping is, this white bone Tianjun at this moment turned out to be true, in the trembling gradually fell down the body. Thump! A loud noise. Bai Bing Tianjun squatted down. Losing the body of the spine is even more soft. No, Bone Heavenly King is struggling with all his strength. The whole body's white bones have basically begun to emit a black light, trying to break free of this squat. However, it is futile. It seems to be a suppression of life form. It is like saying that in the existence of the dark system, winning the hook is supreme. It is the peak of this ladder, and the bones of the Heavenly King can only be suppressed. Do not? Do you dare to say no before this seat? Give me a sigh. Win a hook, step directly across the void, reach out and grab, the endless chain is directly caught in the hand. Win the hook and walk forward step by step. Going up to the throne. Stretching your hand and touching the throne. The corner of the winning hook finally showed a smile, just like seeing something new. Yes, there is still something good. Win the hook of the throne. When the body moved, I just wanted to step on it, but hesitated. Then I looked at Long Fei. Boy, come, this throne is my meeting for you. Win the hook and say, reach out and pull the chain directly on it. Roar. For a moment, Bai Bien Tianjun was extremely angry. It's like watching your life being taken away. I am angry. However, to win the next wave of operations, it is even more ruthless. Well, this bone is still decorated with shortcomings, just use the 2 soul fires of this pile of bones to pend. Win the hook. Understate it. Then he grabbed it and held it directly in his hand. The Baigu Tianjun is like a child. Even if he wins the hook operation, he has no courage to struggle. It is as if the power of the whole body is imprisoned. Long Fei has been shocked at this time. Looking at the winning hooks one by one, like taking a bag, the 2 green in the head of the bones are taken out, and then pressed on the seat and pressed directly. Come on, take control of this throne, this bone is for you. It is life and death, it is up to you to control. Win the hook and say. And Long Fei, and looked suspiciously to win the hook. Do not want to be violent. Who is Baigu Tianjun? That is the boss of the system-defined creation level. Even in the previous boss ranks, it is a transcendental level. Unexpectedly, the winning hook is just the beginning of the game, and immediately suppress the audience. The whole process is only to say a few words, and directly put the existence of Baigu Tianjun in the hands, like a plaything, to take it. Give me? Long Fei tentatively asked. Some are not willing to believe. Such a strong existence can be summoned by the system itself. It is already an incredible thing. Even want to meet yourself? Unreasonable. Too unreasonable. Of course, this seat speaks one thing. Win the hook and say. Regardless of whether Long Fei is willing or not, let's take a look. Long Fei felt that his body seemed to be out of his own control and was directly drawn to the throne of the white bone. Hey! When Long Fei's eyes were shocked, he felt that a force in the underworld was directly drawn around the body. A very intuitive feeling tells him. He is the king of this battlefield. Dominate everything. Even the words spoken before the winds are echoed in the ears. That is, the current Baigu Tianjun, who wants to kill and kill. Just a thought. At this time, the win is a sinful smile. Well, kid, since I have received my meeting, then things will be easier. Kid, practice well. Time is limited. If you are trying to break through this realm, you must go back to Earth. Win the hook and say, immediately open your mouth and scream. 2 cavities appear directly on the lip. And to win the hook, directly reach out and pull it down and put it in your hand. It's just that you have to retreat and refine these 2 teeth, which will allow your physical strength to go further. Okay, this seed is leaving. Remember, be sure to be fast. Winning the hook, after the completion of the figure, directly into the infinite black fog, dissipated in the abyss. Chapter 45-25. Chapter 45-25 Going Back to Earth? Long Fei's heart was excited. This is the place where countless dreams come back. Even now, Xian Emperor has already obliterated and entered Wanjie. Long Fei never gave up in his heart. Earth. Laozi has long wanted to go back. One day, I will definitely go back. Long Fei's eyes must be, watching the wind hook slowly leave, the eyes flashed a fine light. However, soon, Long Fei regained his eyes and moved in one step, directly sitting on the throne of the white bones. Looking at it, the weak bones of the white bones, a cold in the eyes, I was very cool just now? Come on, continue, isn't it the first battlefield that is your territory? Don't you want to treat Laozi as a decoration for the throne? You move me another look? Long Fei said faintly, a look of play. Now, when Long Fei controls the white bone throne, it means that it is the life and death of Baigu Tianjun. Moreover, now Bai Bian Tianjun has lost the soul of his eyes, basically it is blind, and the strength is greatly reduced. Baigu Tianjun raised his empty eyes. Kid, don't be proud. Although I don't know how you can attract such a strong presence. But now, he is gone. Skinny Camel is bigger than Ma, don't you understand? More than what you think is the existence of this throne. Just by giving him a sentence you can control it? It's a joke. Bai Gu Tianjun said quietly. I don't believe that Long Fei has control over 10,000. Long Fei smiled. Skinny camel is bigger than horse? But you are just a bunch of dead bones. Don't you dare. Long Fei said disdain. Thoughts move. Above the white bones the breath is scattered. An unspeakable pattern flashed, and a shadow of a skull suddenly flashed out. Hey! The shadow of is directly branded on Baigu Tianjun. Hey! Ah! Bone screamed, and the ribs of the whole body were cut off directly. You 100 ghosts' anger screamed, and under the white bones, there was finally a feeling of fear again. But the words have not been finished, the dragon flying above the throne, a cold and direct interruption. Immediately, another ghost flashed out. Hey! On the bones of the white bones, a large piece of bone directly exploded. Long Fei eyes are silent. Looking at the power of the throne, directly lose any resistance to the bones of the heavenly king, sneer in my heart. Unsurprisingly, this throne is not owned by the bone. Rather, this throne is used to suppress the white bones. And that chain is the power of the throne. However, in the infinite years, let Bai Bian Tianjun explore some of the doorways, while controlling by the throne, he took control of some power. Even today, Long Fei can think of it. Bai Gu Tianjun has already reached the edge of breaking free. Perhaps he will be able to counterattack and control the throne, and he will be happy. Unfortunately, I met myself, and Long Fei will not have the slightest pity for Bai Gu Tianjun. After all, it's just a boss. Long Fei also lost his savage mind, his eyes condensed, and his palms were directly shot on the throne. Bang! Hey! The two chains re-emerged directly from the throne. Oh la la! The two chains are broken, and they are swept out, and the white bones are directly worn in one step. Don't kill me! Bai Gu Tianjun suddenly opened. There is no arrogance anymore. Kill me, the entire first battlefield is the land of no ownership. At that time, it will definitely cause changes in Tongxian Road. At the time, the entire Tongxian Road will be cut off. Leave me a life, I am willing to be your dog. Bai Gu Tianjun asked for help. No bones. Compared with the previous arrogance, it is simply two people. And Long Fei simply can't listen. A dog? Are you still qualified to be my dog now? I don't die, then see how I broke you today. The king of the town. Give a big drink. Long Fei is like a supreme authority. In a word, the whole person's body changes. Rumble. At this time, the throne of the white bone was directly voiced, and there was no pressure and suffocation. Oh la la la. A chain of chains is a change, the bone thorns breed, and then instantly penetrate the body of the white bones. Hey! Unsurprisingly, Bai Bian Tianjun also directly turned into a piece of powder. Hey, congratulations to the player Long Fei killing the creation-level boss Bai Bian Tianjun, gaining an experience of 100 billion, the source value is 10 billion, and the violent value is 1 point. Hey, congratulations to the player for the sword. Hey, congratulations to the players for not getting rid of the spirit. Hey, congratulations to the players to get the essence of the bones. The system exploded. The prompt tone is continuous. These dragons have been satisfied with the explosion. Think about it and look at the various properties directly. For the demon killing power increased by 50%, for the enemy to produce a killing enemy, the lethality increased by 20%, and have the opportunity to trigger the magic sword to bring their own skills, the town of a sword. Long Fei has been stunned, watching the system's second surgery, heart rate acceleration. In the next moment, Long Fei holds the bone sword and his eyes are very excited. Haha, 50% improvement? Who else is this Nima? There are also killing attributes? Send, this is a killer. Long Fei laughed, not cool. At this stage, the means he controls are too singular. In addition to the martial arts, the blade of the king has limitations. Nowadays, the explosion of the scorpion sword just complements this short board. Moreover, the attributes of the scorpion sword are simply against the sky. What is a sword in hand? I have it in the world. This sword is fully in line with this feature. This time I really earned it. Chu Shanhai, and the people of the Dark Emperor, and the group of women who want to kill the old man, come on. Come on. Laozi is waiting for you. Long Fei holds a long sword and his heart is stirring. Invincible thoughts instantly wash away the void, directly let the inexhaustible bones, endless sorrow, humble worship. And Long Fei, who did not care about those at all, turned to look at the other two things. Do not destroy the spirit. No level. Description. The time and space of the ages, the first battlefield of Shen Yu, after the fall, there is no immortal obedience of the strong, refining can make the supreme thought. Seeing here, the dragonfly's pupils are focused on excitement. Nothing to read the 4 words, for Long Fei, it is an irresistible temptation. System, direct refining. Long Fei said that he didn't want to wait for a moment. However, after the speech was finished, the system did not respond at all. System, what's the matter? Long Fei asked. Imagine, is this time at this time? A bug has occurred? Hey, the item is invisible and the player cannot be refining. The system responded. Long Fei glimpsed, and there was endless disappointment in his eyes. I wipe, system, won't you want to black out my stuff? Long Fei asked. But this time, the system did not answer, but directly prompted. Hey, the item can be swallowed by the system wizard. After the swallow, the system wizard wakes up. Will the player swallow? Chapter 45-26. Chapter 45-26. Long Fei's new tide, breathing feels a little short. System girl? When the system sound appeared, Long Fei's mind directly appeared in the invincible girl, who could be sweet and can be overbearing. Jump, jump, jump. In the vagueness, Long Fei felt the sperm on the upper brain. It's not that he's not enough, but the system's sister can fully understand what he thinks and can change instantly. This skill is not available to anyone. Swallowing, don't ask, just swallow it. Long Fei responded directly. Regarding the system's sister, Long Fei has been mourning for a long time. That is the existence of a heaven. Deducting empty energy, strong enough to be invincible. Even the longevity can be played, what else can't be done? Oh, the immortal mind is swallowed up, and the time is uncertain. The system sound appears. For a time in the system, Long Fei's heart is not awkward, but he can't help it. Before, but always better than before, there is no hope at all. System sister, hurry up and wake up. Long Fei thought in his heart. His eyes turned and looked at the last thing. Wangu essence. Essence of Wangu. No grade. Properties. After the fall of the billionaires, the essence of the elite is integrated into the bones, which is extremely pure. Hint. It can be integrated into the winning and refining, which can improve the strength of the winning hook. Long Fei is heartwarming. It is another anti-day existence. Needless to say, the strength of the win hook is almost horrible. It is Long Fei who admits that there is an absolute gap with the other party. However, although Long Fei's heart is helpless, it will not be lost. After all, there is a system, even if it is strong, Long Fei will certainly step on the foot. What was the original emperor? Not the same as being killed by himself, and finally becoming a respectable running dog, wagging in pity, continue to survive in a different form. Plus now, if the system's sister wakes up, afraid of the gap in repairing? Non-existent. Good things, but not rushing to the present. This basically means that it is a killer, and it will be used later. Long Fei thought of it. As a matter of urgency, system tasks are the key. If the smoldering left by the refining and refining hooks can be physical, it is not enough to make Long Fei feel better than the upgrade. Moreover, now on the road of Tongxian, there are more drags in Long Fei's heart. One thought of this, Long Fei is sitting on the throne of the white bone, ready to control this endless sea of bone through the throne. looking for some clues. At this time, the throne of the bone also sent out a feeling of extreme affection, as if to recognize the Lord. Okay? Have a sense of wisdom? Long Fei's heart suddenly broke. The artifact is wise, not at all unusual. However, in front of the whole piece of bone sea, in addition to the bones of the heavenly king is a creature, the other, at best, can only be regarded as a dead spirit. Therefore, Long Fei never thought about it. This throne can be intelligent. When I think of it, the dragon's soul is moving and sinking directly into the throne of the white bone. Booming. For a moment, Long Fei felt like a stone sinking into the sea, and within the entire white bone throne, it was a vast sky. It is like a land of sorrow. A piece of white, as chaotic, is extremely heavy. But Long Fei knows that it is definitely chaotic. There will never be such a large handwriting, which is used to put a white bone on this road. With this in mind, Long Fei mobilized the power of eternal life. Brush. The eternal life is like the light of the heavens and the earth. Brush it. Within the space of the white bones, the breath of the sky was instantly smashed by the eternal life of Long Fei. And this piece of space finally appeared in front of Long Fei. Still innocent, but Long Fei's knowledge can be controlled. Because he is the master of this white bone throne. At this time, a faint voice appeared in the mind of Long Fei. Master. The voice is insignificant, like a child. Long Fei's gaze began to dissipate, constantly searching, and finally saw a mini version of the white bone swaying towards himself. I rub, do you want to be so cute? It is Long Fei, which is all sprouted by the small bones that appear in front of the eyes. It is like a very popular cartoon on Earth. Like the stiff fish, there was no friend. You are the king of the bones? Long Fei asked. Master, I don't know what I am. Only the smell of the master just gave birth to me, and I gave birth to my mind. As for what my body is, I don't know. The little bones faintly said, shaking the thumb-sized hoe, very cute. Long Fei glimpsed, this will understand. It turned out that this little bone was actually because he became the master of this white bone throne, and he was able to give birth to his wisdom. Thinking of this, Long Fei was slightly disappointed. After all, he wants to know the first battlefield from the mouth of this little bone. What is the situation? It seems that it is simply unreliable. Just now I have been born with wisdom, how can I know those things? However, for the harvest of such a small bone, Long Fei is still quite comfortable. Since you have just born a sense of wisdom, then practice well. Your name will be called White Bone in the future. Long Fei said. Thank you, Master. I am a little bone in the future. The white bones should be accepted, and it is obviously very exciting for Long Fei to give his name. Long Fei smiled lightly, no longer waiting for more, and God recognized the movement and directly withdrew the space of the white bone throne. What makes Long Fei unexpected is that in the moment when Long Fei's consciousness is returned to reality, a burst of roaring sounds from the abyss below. The entire abyss, like a huge screen, presents the other side in front of Long Fei. I am going, is this God's vision? Long Fei can't believe it. Looking at the west, Shan Haizong of the Chushan Sea, the dark Xian Mazong and a group of women and the dragons are mixed, and their eyes are full of surprises. At this time, in his eyes, the world under the abyss is directly the same as transparent. For a moment, Long Fei's gaze must be fixed, thinking of a new void in the void between the collapse of the 9th battlefield. In an instant, Long Fei's heart is clear. Under this abyss, this is another world of Tongxian Road. Just like Shaoguan, they want to go further and move on to the next level. And myself, it is the first step to the other, directly to the world. And become the master of this world. Looking at the world below, the battle broke out, and my heart was extremely sorry. These are all experiences. However, Long Fei's heart is also relieved. Nothing else, because there are too many people below, there are more than 10 tens of thousands of demon people. There are also dragons, plus a few sects, with nearly 200,000 people. Even if only 1/3 of the battlefield survived, it was enough for him to complete the task. Ha ha ha, that is to say, after the person below decides the outcome, can I enter the area where I am? I finally have to meet. Come on, I want to know, you will see what Laozi's expression will look like. Long Fei laughed in his heart. Chapter 45:27. Chapter 45:27. At this time, in the second battlefield, the battle broke out. Here, there is no race, no martial art, no righteousness. Yes, only want to break through this battlefield and reach the required amount of barbarism and madness. Dragons is in the midst of a battle, and it's almost a shot. However, the construction of the horse is not the same. After the transformation into a dragon to build a horse, Jianma kills one side and gallops on the battlefield. Except for a handful of people like Chu Shanhai, almost no one is his opponent. God blocks the killing of God, and the Buddha blocks the Buddha. However, the long-term killings made the construction of the horses too much. They directly magnified, recruited a thunder, opened a road and came to the side of Long Fei. Boss, this is a bit wrong. These people seem to have forgotten the difference between the martial art and see people kill. It's already red-eyed, and every one seems to have lost its intelligence. Jianma was wearing a rough gas and said quietly, "He has already killed too much, and the body of the beast can't continue to carry it." Long Fei nodded. Well said. Above this battlefield, there is a special kind of power, as if a person moves to kill, it will become strangled. It seems that there is a kind of power in the dark to control this place, to let people deliberately kill. Long Fei said, "It was because I had already felt everything here, so before he did not shoot, just dodge. However, after all, it is impossible to change everything here. Above the battlefield, the fire is ruthless. What kind of sect, what faction, is worthless here? Humanity has received an unprecedented test. It is Chushanhai and Zhantai Lingxiu, who is on the water side, have been immersed in the killing and cannot extricate themselves. As for the magic sense, there are Tianlong Wang and the Blood Demon King, but also killing the sky. The numbers above the battlefield are also decreasing in madness. The Master, what do we do, still kill? The current number is almost the same as the number required by the previous monument," asked the horse. Before the second battlefield opened, the unsung voice had conveyed the goal of the second battlefield. That is 30,000. Today, after a day and night under the mad killing, there are only 30,000 people left. Dragon's eyes squint and look above the void. I saw that a huge vortex had formed above the void. Among the whirlpools, a scent from the battlefield below. As long as one person is killed in the battlefield below, the power in this vortex will increase by 1 point. Dragons has a feeling that as long as there are only 30,000 people left on the battlefield, the vortex in this void will erupt, just like opening the second battlefield before opening a new battlefield. Thinking of this, Long Fei sighed and said, "Kill it! Anyway, as long as there are only 30,000 people left, it will open a new battlefield. It will end sooner or later," Long Fei said, and he took the initiative to attack. As for Chu Shanhai and others, this has already killed the red eyes. It seems that the digital target has become the only standard in their hearts. Regardless of the people in the same door or the enemy, as long as they are close, they will be killed. What they didn't know was that at this time in the first battlefield, Long Fei was sitting on the throne of the White Bone, watching the world under the abyss, and his heart was burning. God's vision allows him to control everything. At the same time, he can also perceive that a great attraction is growing stronger as the number of people below is decreasing. Even before, the world below will collapse and the abyss will disappear. At the time, this first battlefield, everyone will also log in. I am fucking, is there only a few people left? How do you do this special task? Long Fei sees everything below. For a whole few hours, The number dropped from hundreds of thousands to tens of thousands, making Long Fei depressed to liver pain. However, there is nothing to help, everything he can't intervene, can only watch. But at this time, above the entire first battlefield, a supreme will emerges from above the void. Just like this one on the first battlefield, there is a higher level of the world, watching it here. The dragon flies in the light and looks at the void. I saw that at this time, above the void, a white mangling suddenly appeared. Directly immersed in the endless sea of bones. Rumble, rumble, under the endless sea of bones began to roar. There seems to be something that is constantly growing in general. Long Fei's eyes stared and said nothing. Then, a stone monument emerged directly from the endless sea of bones and slowly rose. Is this the monument? A dragon flies. The existence of Tongxianbei has been heard on the 9th battlefield. Unexpectedly, today in this first battlefield, I even witnessed the emergence of the entire Tongxian monument. Rumble. The huge roaring sounds are still erupting, and Tongxianbei is constantly rising in this roar. 1 meter, 2 meters in a blink of an eye, directly into a tall 100-meter stone monument, standing on the void, very incomparable. At the moment when the 100-meter-long monument was formed, a will descended from the void. Bones, the first battlefield, I am going to slap hundreds of millions of soldiers, and kill the monks. Only 10 people can. The rest will be your nourishment. A voice fell directly into the vast sky. The dragon's mouth is cold, and a horrible conjecture appears above his heart. That is the Tongxian road. Thorough is a conspiracy. It seems to be a certain existence, in the baptism of the people of Tongxian mainland. It is like cutting a leek, harvesting the mainland of Tongxian County. One after the other. As long as the monks on the mainland of Tongxian are strong, this universal continent will become their end. However, this time it is destined to be broken. No matter who is behind this, how to pass the sky, Long Fei must kill it. And this Tongxian road will also be overturned. Because this is the system task. Equivalent to saying that Long Fei's copy target is to kill this person. Therefore, for this order, Long Fei directly sneered at it and did not care. He is not a bone, so he will not care who this will be. At this time, this will also open again. Bones, do you hear the orders of this seat? Very proud. It is as if the order is subordinate. I heard Nima. Open your dog's eyes and see clearly. Now sitting on this throne is not a bone, but Lao Tzu. As for your bones, I have already been killed by Lao Tzu. Long Fei fell directly. If the whole Tongxian road is under the control of others, there is no accident. Long Fei is one of the opponent's goals. This feeling makes Long Fei very unhappy. Therefore, no matter who it is, Long Fei will not back down, that is, go back. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.